welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Creative Gaia, hosting along with Tony Z. And it's an open forum, but we brought someone in who's going to be joining us tonight to share some interesting tidbits of info. You know what we're like. We like to go outside the box just to make sure we keep it real for you guys. We don't want you thinking it's Kansas still. You guys, you're in Oz, and we're just going to bring all that Oz info to the table for you. I think you've had enough of the illusion, and it's time to start exposing a lot of it. That's what we kind of do anyway, so it's the reason why the system doesn't like people like me and Tony and others, because, well, we're a virus, and we're a deadly virus, and we're going to take this game down, because we already have. It's already predestined, predetermined. Bottom line is, get over it. You lost. We win. That's how it works. So they can fight all they want. And before I bring the guest in, I'm going to see if Tony's got his mouthpiece working there. How you doing, Tony?
Yeah, not bad at all, Kate. Not bad at all. Now I've got this thing working again. But,
there you go. Yeah, you had a bit of work tearing it apart, yeah?
Just a bit. It slid down to a snail's pace and some. So, taking a day to get it running.
Well, sometimes we've got to do that. I did that the other day just to get my computer defragged. It took, I forget how many hours. I use Defraggler, by the way. It's an online. I have to thank Giordano Bruno Jr., Terry's son, who put it on my computer for me. It's quite thorough, and yeah, it really helped out a lot. So we're going to go off in some pretty wild directions tonight, Tony, just because.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well.
Those are my favorite jokes. I love when we bring it on. What?
Bring it on. Great.
You're such a boy. I love it. Anyway, yeah, where are we going to go here? Let's go shopping Walmart with a Zellers card, shall we? All right. I don't have Zellers anymore. It's all Target now. Look at that. Corporate America taking over Canada. Well, that's for all the meat sticks that need that, but that's okay with me, too. Anyway, I should bring our guest in, and we're going to go off on some pretty neat tangents and cover a lot of different areas tonight. And had a chance to talk with Patty earlier today. Received email, texting, Facebook thingy, whatever, outlined some information, and more and more of the pieces of the puzzle come together always, because that's what we're doing is we're walking through our timelines here. For those that are new listening, I'm going to bring you all into my timeline. Tony's there, Patty's there, and so many that have already listened to me before. Oh, well, since last would be February 11th, 12, 13, 14. Since February 15th, since I witnessed firsthand the net results of a deliberate time jump to alter a document that would have crushed their entire house based on the document that it was. That's how. And maybe I'll get Tony to talk on this a little bit too. The importance of not messing with timelines and the ramifications for doing so. Time Baby doesn't like it. Time Baby gets a real snitty about it and kicks your sorry ass across the universe for doing it. So there's a lot of entities here that have been messing with time jumping that shouldn't be, and especially when they do it to their own benefit. But I was time jumped. Well, it was actually they raided my house on February 11th, and the pieces of papyrus that they gave Sue had an error on them. It misspelled the all caps name that was at one time joined to me, which is no longer. And what they had done, because of that, they had completely nullified the entire document. Because when you finally get it through your heads that everything written are spells, they're all sigils, boys and girls. Every little shape and squiggle, that's why they want you using it. Because you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to use it. You think you're speaking English, but I assure you, you haven't got the first idea. Well, some of you do. Some of you do. Because you've heard me talking about this before, in how every word means it's equal and opposite. Therefore, you remove any assumption of the opposite of what you're intending. See, that's how they've been able to mirror the intent through the language. The tongue pledge, right? Jurisdiction, spoken oath, right? That's what jurisdiction is. Or written, doesn't matter. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Now, the time jump that occurred was they had misspelled the all caps boy name, and that was a big no-no, because what they had done was they had literally broken their own spell. That's why these are so critical, guys. When you speak of a mistake with a court, that's terrifying for them. And that's all they've done with me is made mistakes. Everything that they've ever done with me, they've made mistakes all over it, so their spells are useless. I laugh at them. I mean, hell, they can't. Never mind the fact that on the birth certificate, they outright murdered, in a spiritual sense, me on June 18th, 3 days after I got here. But they didn't even get the gender right. See, here's the problem, guys. They didn't bother to ask me. You see, so there was what happens when you assume? Well, you make an ass out of you, not me, right? Because you assumed the wrong thing. And, of course, that assumption from day one has always been incorrect. So everything that they have ever applied spiritually to me has been backwards, and it's messed them all up. So what they did with this document was, after I exposed it, that was on a Saturday. I didn't see the document until Sunday on the 12th. And as soon as I looked at it, it jumped out at me. It was glaring that they had misspelled it. And I'm thinking, perfect, this is all null and void. We're going home. End of story, no questions. Drop it, it's finished. And that's how serious this was. So I proceeded to, I've given the document to a friend of mine who is a bailiff, and of course Sue witnessed it, and this individual witnessed it as well. I had actually scanned it for me and emailed the scan to me, because it was kept in a safe. I said, keep it in the safe, I don't want this going anywhere. And sure enough, I copied and pasted it, put it in an email, sent it to all the criminal entities, the Guelph Police, Karen Farbridge, the mayor, which is the chief magistrate, so everything that happens in her little city corporation jurisdiction, she's fully liable for. Right? That's the problem with being the head cheese of a city, right? Especially a corporation of the city of Guelph. You are the chief executive officer and the chief magistrate. You are the head judge, and everyone acting in your jurisdiction, mayor, is acting on your behalf in proxy, and you're liable for their actions. That's why it's probably not a good idea to run for mayor of any town, especially in this planet. So anyway, make a long story short. I never make them short. What am I saying? Please. Anyway, I emailed all these criminal entities and gave them notice right quick. And my intention was later that week, which turned out to be, that was the Monday I sent the email out to all these different parties, Pope included, by the way. I like including the Pope. I mean, the Benny the Rat there, now that he's hightailed it out of Rapeville. Yeah, I sent it to everybody, and so that was the Monday. And on Tuesday, Wednesday, I was working on some stuff, and then I had made arrangements with the bailiff to take physical copies of all of this to all the different parties. The Newmarket Provincial Court, the Guelph Provincial Court. There was interjurisdictional. The mayor of Newmarket is liable as well for all the actions of the criminality of the fraudulent land transfer that went on. I mean, that's their rules and stuff, but, those who make the rules have to obey them. Those of us that step outside of that realm get to command those rules. So it's time to start watching the snake eat its own ass. So on the Thursday, I was because I had everything taken, I had to go to a friend's shop to get the printing done, and I was looking for the file, and there was, of course, I had borrowed a computer, and I had only had a few files on it, given the number of days that I'd been kidnapped and house stolen. When I went to the document, though, it wasn't incorrect anymore as far as the spelling was concerned. I thought, that's kind of weird. I wonder if I got a different, I picked the wrong document here. But I hadn't, and upon it had been changed. So what they had done was realized I gave them the heads up, silly me, but it doesn't matter. I needed to know this to figure out how time jumps worked, and that they actually do them. And when you experience one, you know they do them. And this document magically had changed. It had been corrected, and the only way you can do that, because the original one that was only a copy anyway, but the one that they had handed to Sue was the one that was in the safe and nobody could touch it. let alone change it, alter it, and the one that Sue still had a copy of as well, right? So I'm looking at this going, nah. Anyway, so I put it all together as it was, but fact is, now that anyone that has never heard that particular story, welcome to my timeline. We just moved you out of theirs. And now, because this is a reality within you, they got to fix everything with you. That's why I like telling thousands of people. It keeps these assholes busy in the ethereal. It keeps them running like chickens with their heads cut off, and that's where I like them to be. I'm a spiritual warrior, and a lot of people will deal in this physical realm when they look for solutions in the books and all the rest of it. I do too, but I take it from a different perspective, because I know the forces that are here are not what you're... Again, everyone... Those that are asleep are in Kansas. Those that are awake are in Oz. So you guys that are tuned in, and I mean tuned in, you know you're in Oz. And we're dealing with a pretty messed up wizard. But Tony, did you want to maybe touch on the time jump thing there before we bring Patty in?
Can do, briefly. I'm just trying to think of how to quantify it and zip it down. We were always taught that we're in a Newtonian universe. Now, on numerous occasions, we've proved that to be wrong. Again, Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness details all of this information that I'm speaking of at the moment, including information on the Vatican chronovisor and various other technologies that are detailed in the book. And basically, we're in a holographic universe, not a Newtonian physics universe. In other words, everything has a holographic quality to it. Even though you think things are solid, they're vibrating at such a high speed rate that they appear to be solid, but they're actually not. Anyway, there's a lot more to that subject. The point being is there is time travel and teleportation technologies, and it's all about a vibrational change. I mentioned the Vatican chronovisor. I can mention a lot of people, Andy Bisaggio, Dan Bursch from Project Camelot talked about some looking glass technology that was all about being able to see through time. Brett Stillings also. Brett or Ben? Brett, yes. I've double checked and triple checked, yeah. He's also experienced this sort of technology. You've got people like Bob Dean, who've been taken off planet for a period of, I think he said 6 weeks, and then he was brought back just after he was taken off, so the 6 weeks weren't actually 6 weeks, even though they were 6 weeks. But there's lots of other things to this when you involve. If you think back to the Nazi Bell program was the German Foo Fighter technology, where they were actually using electromagnetic fields similar to our atmosphere. We've got a north and a south and an equator and various other things, like a magnet. So what the Germans were doing was actually manipulating electromagnetic fields, which are creating anti-gravitic effects, which are then bending space-time. So the biggest story of Hitler, he wasn't just developing anti-gravity craft, he was also developing time travel technologies. But I'm not sure whether it was unbeknown to him or not, because the Vatican chronovisor goes back a heck of a long time, and where we've gone with this, we've taken it much further than that, because the fact is that the people that rule this planet now have always had majorly advanced technologies and kept them away from us and kept us like, they've been looking in like goldfish in the pond. We're in the pond and they've got all the kit. So as long as we don't find out they've got the kit, we'll never demand it. And that kit includes free energy, teleportation, faster than light speed travel, and all sorts of other wonderful stuff. None of which they want you or I to have, of course, because, you know, we need passports and driving licenses and we need to buy petrol and stuff like that. But anyway, so the time jump stuff is among the stuff that, I mean, if I was in China now, I'd have guards busting through the door and putting a bullet through my head. It's actually illegal to talk about time jumping and time travel in China. So, I mean, all things for a reason. That kit is real, and it is, they have been using it, and they've been using it for a very long time. I mean, if you think of the practicalities for a minute, if there ever was or ever will be, and I'm just looking at this on a linear level, as in time, if there ever will be an ability to time travel, then there always has been, because you could always go from the future into the past and take that tech back with you. And it also comes out that obviously there's lots more other races using this technology as well. So not only have we got it, but we've always had it, and it's just been hidden. And this is how they managed to create the rise and fall of societies throughout a real history, by controlling all of the information in secret societies, military projects, deep black underground bases and off-world bases and all sorts of other stuff. It's a deep, deep, deep rabbit hole. But in a nutshell, yes, we have it, and they're using it like we're using cars to go to work and back, and abusing it. So there you go. This is it.
That's a big cup of soul there. Huh. No, again, it's, you really got to get your head outside of the box and start looking at things a whole lot differently, because obviously the mess we're in here in terms of how this planet works is pure insanity, so we got to stop doing the same shit over and over again. I'm just kind of saying that. An interesting interview yesterday with Alan and Steve. And one of the things that I took away from that interview, I posted both of them on Facebook, by the way, and I really think they're the one I did with Dave, Wolf Spirit, with Tracy sitting in, and the one that I did with Tony yesterday with both Steve and Alan from Open Your Mind Ireland. I would highly urge you to listen to both of those interviews. And I would even say finish it off with the one in Critical Mass last night. So it was a Trinity yesterday, and there's a few things about the first couple of interviews that drive a lot of points home. Geminis, by the way, work better in the morning. Okay, we're kind of noon-ish type beings, 10 to noon kind of thing. That's when we're at our brightest, as it were. And before I go any further here, just putting out that beautiful love energy. Santa Bonacci is in the air right now as we speak, and just the wings of love, baby. We'll see you in Ecuador. Looking forward to chatting with you at some point tomorrow afternoon when you get there. So I just wanted to put that out there so everyone can flow all sorts of beautiful love energy to Santo, making the quest to get Bonacci the film into reality, which is friggin' awesome. End of story. There we go. Now, where the hell was I? Oh yeah, listen. If there are any interviews that I would love you guys to listen to, it'd be the ones that the three from yesterday. I know that's a lot of listening. I think you will find it most enlightening. There was with Alan and Steve, one of the things that I found there, because there was a lot of listeners that had never heard me and Tony before, and even Steve. I could feel the energy shift during the show. I don't know about you, Tony, but I felt it, where it was, I got this energy of, I wish we hadn't wasted time talking about that other shit, because we got so many questions to ask, kind of energy, and the questions were coming in fast and furious at the end. But it was great just to see people that were grasping the concepts, most importantly about the power of the spells, the words, the sigils, and that's the road I've been on all along. And I'm not deviating from it, because that's my piece of the puzzle, and it's all about breaking this spell. We are spellbound, literally, figuratively, spiritually, allegorically, metaphorically, on all levels, all dimensions. So it's time to rip that apart. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Patty in, and we're going to take this way outside the box, and got quite a story, kiddo. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you and sharing it with everybody on the air tonight. And I will ask Carol, I'm going, in case I get bumped and Tony gets bumped, I'm putting you on backup host duty. So I'm gonna open your mic, and that way I know you're there. So, all right. So anything happens as far as me getting bumped off the air, this is going to be a prime night for it. And or Tony. Carol, the floor is yours. Okay, hon?
What was it you wanted me to do, sweetheart?
If the air goes dead, you start talking.
I'll be there. I'll be there, baby. Love
All right. Love you too. Great big hello. Thank you so much for being there every night. I love knowing it. People like you and Otis and so many others that are just, you're not regulars, you're stalwarts. And, it's nice to have pillars beside me that I can actually lean on too. So thank you for that.
Well, you feed us so well, and I find myself chewing on dinner from yesterday all day long the next day, all night long and then all day long until I get back to you again and until you're available. And it's so wonderful. What you and Tony are doing is a blessing to so many, honey. God bless you.
God bless you. And we did say that, the table's set. It is a buffet. The wine is poured. And don't worry, if you're not quite getting the concept, we're not going to start without you. We're waiting for everyone to get to this table. And it won't be long. And don't worry, it's an infinite setting. Nothing goes bad, nothing goes cold, nothing goes hot. It's beautiful. So there you go. So Patty, are you there?
Hi, Katie.
How are you? An hour and a half later.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you're loud and clear. You're on the air.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Hi.
That's why I was typing to you too. I should have mentioned it a bit more as far as soon as I bring you into the call, we're live on the air, so every sound that's made is on the air.
Okay.
So anyway, everyone knows that and you spoil it. Everyone knows we had someone waiting in the wings. So there you go. I was trying to surprise everybody. But anyway, how about a little background on you, and let's get into this hot and heavy, shall we?
Okay. Well, I was talking to Katie today, and I've sort of been in touch with the website and listening to the shows for the past week or so, and just knowing that I had come out of this, like we all have, this really challenging time, and I just needed to connect, and I just knew that when I heard you guys talking that I was home, and anyway, so what happened was, I'll just go back to kind of how I got here, was that I was in a relationship about 8 years ago, a really bad one, and my sister in Arizona is a Christian, and God had told her 3 times to come up to Vancouver to see me, and I guess she didn't really want to go, and he finally said, "You're going," and she came up to Vancouver, which is British Columbia where I live, and I was just living a really dark, bad life, and but I really didn't know it. Like, I just thought I was having a blast, but apparently not. Anyway, so my sister started talking about God, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. And I really didn't actually want her around that much, but she ended up leading me to the Lord, or to God, and I cried and cried and cried, and I couldn't stop crying, and I couldn't figure out why, and I thought this whole thing was really weird. And then the next day I wake up and I've got these, like, they're about the size of a quarter. They look like a purple-black bruise on the top of my hands and on the top of my feet. And I didn't think much of it. And I was talking to my sister a couple of days later, and I said, by the way, I said, like, when you become a Christian, do you get, like, these circles on your hands and feet? Because I said, I got these, they look like bruises, but I didn't hurt myself. And they were perfectly formed, like they were perfect circles. I remember that. And she said, well, I think those are called stigmata. And I went, oh, what is that? So anyway, I went on the computer, looked it up, and I still don't really understand what it is, but I mean, I think there are different opinions about what it is. Some say it's a demonic manifestation. Some say it's, I don't know, being crucified or spiritually crucified. And anyway, I didn't think much of it. And then God had been showing me that he'd asked me, I guess it's about a year later, he'd asked me to be one of the 144,000, and I'm like, I didn't even know what that was. So I said, you know what, I'll get back to you. I had a feeling it wasn't very good, though. So I said, I just wanted to research it, right? So I go online, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, oh, man, this sucks. Like, this really sucks. So, I thought, well, maybe I should.
Actually, what I need you to do right now is I don't want people being confused based on what you've been talking about so far as where this energy was potentially coming from. Because we talked about this in great length today as far as certain entities and whatnot. And for clarification's sake, I'm not going to speak for you. I'm going to try to clarify a couple of things that might be confusing some people. What Patty and I talked about today, let's just say, she knows who Bill Donahue is, all right? So we're going to get proper interpretations here. But one of the things that we did discuss is there is a limited vocabulary that people get given, especially when dealing in the religio-cosa circles. And this is one of the things that holds a lot of us back. So just for clarity's sake, and I want you to speak freely, okay? I don't want to speak for you here. I want you to speak freely, but when Patty's referencing God or Lord or Creator, that is the within. Okay, we went over. Well, how long were we talking about? An hour and a half. I had a great chat with you today.
Oh yeah.
Just trying to work through some different things, and also given the entity or the being that you were connected with, left me resonating a whole lot of things as far as one, who you are, what your potential is, because they know who's coming in, okay, and they throw all manner of obstacles in our way to keep us asleep or to keep us from enacting what we're supposed to be doing in this grand play of ours, the grand illusion here. And and that's why I want you to tell everyone who it was you were with and what he was part of. And also, here's the thing, when you're around beings like that, you are drawing in some really seriously shitty energy, layers that get placed on us, programs, infiltrations, heart and soul. So this is what because this is why this story needs to be told. Because what you're going to present to people tonight, my feeling on it, is this very Oz reality we're in. So why don't you begin with who you were married to and part of that situation, and let's go from there, because I think that's going to really crack open the doors for people.
Okay. I was married to a lawyer in Vancouver, and he ended up being a partner with another lawyer, and I knew this other lawyer. And I knew that his business ethics were not maybe on the up and up, actually quite a bit. And when I found out that Byron, he passed away 2 years ago, was his partner, it was just a huge red flag for me. And at that time, I was a Christian, so I just really started praying for him. And his partner, because I knew what Jim was into, and it was. I found out later. I mean, as I was sort of going through this whole thing, I was asking God to lead me, and because I said, I knew that Byron, my ex-husband, when he got involved with Jim in this law practice, that the Illuminati were involved, and I knew that, and I had a lot of affirmations from God at the time about that. Anyway, Byron ended up getting quite sick. This was about 3 years ago, and he ended up dying. And at that point, I knew that he had a lot of wealth accumulated through the law firm and the business that they were doing with the Illuminati. And they were doing, the stuff that I was shown was stuff, they were dealing a lot with chemtrails and the vaccinations, huge in the vaccinations, money laundering, drug cartels, Panama. They had tons of property in Panama, offshore bank accounts. They had real estate all over the world. They were dealing in stuff that, Russian mafia. In fact, God had shown me that if this didn't stop with Byron, that the Russian, I think it was the Russian mafia, were going to kidnap my youngest son. And they don't care. I mean, these people have no conscience. They don't have a heart. They just, we're just money to them. so that really freaked me out, thinking that. And so I was on the bandwagon to kind of get Byron to at least walk away from it. And I ended up writing him a huge, huge letter and telling him that, your son's lives are at stake here. They follow us on our computers, and I'm not shy about exposing anybody. And I'm telling you, I'm the first one up there to put it out there.
Excuse me, honey.
Hi,
Kate, I apologize for interrupting, but Patty, are you on a speaker, honey?
Maybe I am.
Yeah, it's really hard to hear from here. Yeah, all her words run together, and it's really hard to figure out what she's saying.
Is this better? Is it better now?
Yes, I think it is. Did you take it off speaker?
I turned my mic button off on my headset.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's better now. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And I apologize for interrupting you, honey.
You got to stop apologizing, Carol. Appreciate it. You're jumping in, helping everybody. It's like, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
On my end, it was clear as a bell, so I couldn't tell. So, yes, absolutely. By all means, jump in at any point.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Carol. Anyway, so I wrote this letter to Byron, and this was just like days before this was about a week before he died, and I said to him, I know what's going on, and you've got to either turn yourself in or walk away from this shit, because it's going to affect your whole family and everything else. And anyway, that didn't happen. He ended up, and you know what? They killed him too. I know that, because the H1N1 vaccines were coming out, and I used to be a nurse, and I used to do clinical drug trials for all the major drug companies. I know they're crap. I actually walked out of, I was doing clinical drug trials. The last one was the one that just broke it for me, and I just walked out of it. When I found out the side effects of this drug that I was promoting, I'm just like, not a hope. So I know what they do, and I know what's in the vaccine. So I said to Byron, don't take that shit, just don't. It's going to kill you. And he wouldn't listen to me, right? And anyway, they used the RFID chips or whatever they put in there. I think the reason I really, really knew what had happened is because he started getting really sick. Once they knew that I had written Byron, because they've got microphones everywhere, right? And I knew that they knew. Once this thing started being vocal, I knew that the shit was going to hit the fan really soon. And sure enough, as soon as we started talking about, his involvement, and I knew, he started getting really, really sick. And he said to me, this is 2 days before, no, the day before he died, I had gone over, it was on a Sunday, and he said, Patty, he said, I was driving in the car yesterday, and he said, I wasn't feeling that great, but he said, suddenly I've got this wave. It was like this wave coming through me. It gave me this nausea. And I knew it was their directed energy weapon, because I had them used on me so many times. I knew as soon as he said that, and I thought, holy shit, he's gone. I knew it. I knew that they had ignited something in one of the chips, and within a day he was gone. And that was when my journey began. And that's when I said, you know what? I said to God, I said, I'm going after whatever belongs to my kids, and I want to take down those creeps for what they did to Byron. They killed him.
Yep.
And they tried to kill me twice. I've had what's called cachexia, a terminal stage cancer. The next step is death. I've had that twice. They have attacked me and my family so many times. And so I said to God, okay, it's our turn. I said, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll go anywhere you want me to go, as long as you're with me, right? And because I knew who I was up against if I was going to do this. And, I had to go through the Law Society. I kind of knew where I was going. And I knew that he was on board because it was in my heart. And I'm just following my heart. And he's always there. So they tried to take me out twice. And then I guess about 3 months ago is when I started on, because I had not a bone to pick, let's say, with one of the lawyers about my ex-husband's estate, and I was so sick at the time that I couldn't deal with it, because I told the lawyer, I said, I'm going to be reporting you to the Law Society about this, but I had to put it on hold, which was God's plan anyway, because what happened was, 3 months ago, God was showing me, you're going to be going against the Law Society, you're going to be writing letters to Jim, because his law partner, what they do, these, when you are with Skull and Bones, what happens is they take, when a person dies, they take a percentage of their estate, and I knew that. I mean, God had prepared me well ahead of time. I couldn't figure out why I was learning so much about Skull and Bones and all of their, their rule books and everything else. And the interesting thing about this, and I'll just interject in the story now, is to say that, God took me through total darkness. He took me right into the pit of hell, where the enemy is. And all of us, I'm sure, that are listening, that have a story similar to mine, have been to hell and back. And I believe it was to break the matrix code, to be able to come out and take the Israelites out of Egypt and show them how. So when you're walking in darkness like that, and all you got is that little glimmer of light that said he was going to take care of me, I got to tell you, you cling on to that like there's no tomorrow. And anyway, so he took me through the whole Freemason story in a way, and it's weird because I wrote these letters, these 2 letters, one to Jim and one to this Tim lawyer, and I was able to use that that little bone to pick that I put on hold. Now I was able to use it, because what it did is it allowed me to pursue a formal complaint against not only the partner, which I could have done anyway, but also against the other lawyer who was also connected, which I didn't even know about. I thought they were 2 separate lawyers, 2 separate, and as I'm going through this, God's revealing to me that these 2 are in it together. I had no idea. It was just, it blew me away. And so I write these letters, and he's, God's showing me what to write in these letters, and I sent them off. Nobody kind of said anything. I didn't hear anything back, and so I said to God, well, but now you're showing me to send the same letters to the Law Society, which I did. And so during this whole time while I'm waiting for when I sent the 2 letters to the 2 lawyers, and in between the time when I sent it to the Law Society, what had happened is I was just in this really, now this is all kind of new to me, and so I might not be using the right terminology and stuff. I'm just trying to figure it out myself. So God was showing. Well,
let me clarify a little bit, because I know what you're saying. Okay.
I know you do.
I know what you're saying, and again, I will be as bold to say as recently broke away from the churchianity perspective of mind control programmed religiocosis as delivered literally into the actual truth of what's going on within that beautiful book. We had a great chat about that today. I was so happy about that. So the terminology, let's just say it's difficult to switch gears because this is a rather recent development. So when Patty is speaking of Creator, God, whatever, she's not referencing outside of herself. She's referencing inside. It's just, it takes a bit to, especially when you've been in it for a while, to change that speak. So just be mindful of that. I know exactly where your intent is coming from.
I know you do.
I'm glad I had the time to spend with you today, because I knew the words weren't matching up with the intent. That was very clear. But that's also part of the literal deprogramming system, especially being around the entities you were, which of course use energy-directed weapons. They also use memory implants, frequencies to implant ideas, concepts, and as I talked to you earlier today about this, a lot of people, and I've met a lot of people with very similar situations, and one of the things that I found to be the only way to understand self is to ask yourself this question: Is there love attached to this idea that I have Is it creating animosity within me? And if it isn't, it ain't yours. That is for damn sure. Okay, so, and right now, Patty is literally walking between those worlds. So,
Katie, that was one of the most powerful things that you said today, was what you just said. It, you know what, it just turned something on in my head when you said that. I got it.
Yeah, well, again, it's, when you know thyself, you are love. Nothing else can interfere with that unless the program overrides you, and that's what they've been doing for so long with the constructs that we've been living in, systems they have built around us, getting us to look at their illusion and somehow make it, there's Kansas, make it real. But no, we're in Oz, and they know it. They are the Wizards of Oz. Wrote an essay about it. And what we're doing now is we've pulled back the curtain on the Wizard, and the Wizard ain't too happy, and that's too bad for the Wizard. So this is for the benefit of the listeners, guys. So what Patty is talking about is from the perspective that everyone is used to sharing on this show, listeners and us and the rest of us. We're all on the same page here. So just be mindful of that. There's still a bit of the speak has to get, rerouted, but understand that I know the intent is there, and I know what the intent is. So carry on, Patty.
Thank you, Katie. Well, during this time, and even previous to this time, I had been doing a lot of spiritual warfare because I was being attacked so many times. I was also making orgone. I don't know how many people know about orgone, but it's...
Everyone you're talking to knows all about orgone. We've done shows on it.
Oh, good. Okay. So I was, putting it all over the city and then creeks and everything. And, they were sending, like I'd look up one day, I'd be making orgone out of my deck, and they'd send this big, ugly, huge black military plane over my apartment, and they just sort of make sure that I saw them. And I'm like, I just gave them flip them in the finger, right? Like, you think you're going to scare me? I doubt it. I mean, they just did all kinds of stuff, right? And so during this time, I was doing a lot of spiritual warfare, and I ended up doing spiritual warfare from a site of a guy named Michael Relfi, R-E-L-F as in Frank E, and his wife Stephanie, who actually I bought her program. She's got some incredible DVDs and stuff for kinesiology, muscle testing, and just for people like us who have been so traumatized, just to get back on track. And the one thing that she does include as well, it's called, I think, Wernicke Connection, where, and I don't know who else does it. I kind of think they might be, if not the only one. There aren't very many. From what I understand, what it does is it reprograms your brain. So all the negative input you've had, like when you were a child, your dad says, you'll never be this, you'll never be that. Well, all those negative comments, this program, and it's only done with muscle testing and stuff, so it's not like, it's not invasive at all. It is able to somehow change the negative thoughts back into. So, for me, that's the main reason that I actually got it. I mean, I need them all, but that one is really appealing to me. So. Anyway, so I'm doing all the spiritual warfare, and I get to these prayers that Michael Relfi has. And I don't know that much about him per se. I didn't read a lot of his stuff, but what I do know is that they used him as a Manchurian candidate, I think on Mars, and he was like a very efficient killing machine, and they used him, I think, for years and years. And I guess then he became a Christian, and God started opening up his eyes and, allowed him to do this so that he could bring back the information. Now, if I think I was in darkness, can you imagine where he must have been? And so by him going into the enemy's camp the way that he did, he came out with the fruit. And now, he's got incredible websites and stuff, and he knows all about the fractal jump gates and all that stuff. And anyway, so I'm saying these prayers quite a bit, I can assure you. I was really being attacked a lot. And then when I finally wrote these 2 letters to these lawyers, I was...
Okay, are you there, Carol?
I'm here, Tony, honey. I guess we lost him, didn't we?
Oh yeah, hang on a sec, Patty. You got bumped there for a sec. So about last 15.
Okay, cool.
All right. So are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, carry on.
Where did it end?
Where did it end, guys?
When she was getting ready to write the 2 letters to about the 2 attorneys.
Yeah.
Okay, so at that time, I was still doing the spiritual warfare that Michael had on his page, but on his page he gives you, like, I was doing all of the, it's called the soft way, and what he says here, I'll just read it to you. He says, the soft way, he says, I believe that this is the more effective type of countermeasure. In this procedure, we use spiritual warfare techniques to disassemble the attacking group and eliminate each component individually. This takes more prayer, discernment, and time. However, the end result is more effective and longer lasting. And then he kind of goes on to tell you what the categories are. And then those are the ones that I was doing. Now, I've always seen this above it, and it's the hard way. And the hard way, and I'll read it to you, says, whatever was sent to me, now he's talking about himself, would be returned to them multiplied by a factor of 1,000, 100,000, or 1,000,000. After much experience, he says, I would now only do this in an emergency if the attacks were very damaging. The problem with this type of countermeasure is that the resources of the enemy are large, and they can attack you in a swarm and escalate the battle beyond what you may be capable of. And another problem is that the enemy still exists and the attacks just get bigger. And then he says it would be better if the enemy was eliminated, and so the source of the attack would vanish. Well, I totally agree with that, which is why I never did it, right? Well, now I'm in the middle. I'm kind of in this position where I knew that I was, going against the big guys now, and I was being really led strongly to say these hard prayers, which I did, and if, I'm the type of person that if God's shown me to do something and it's His way, I'll do let's see. It says a factor of 1,000, 100,000, or 1,000,000. I will always do the 1,000,000. Not only that, I'll probably do a million, which I did. Because, who knows how many they got, right? So I'm just praying these prayers. And I know that once I started praying these prayers, there was a lesson for me. And sure enough, what happened was, at this point now, God's just taking me into a lot. He's really chatting with me now, and He's showing me that
Okay, lost you again for a moment.
Is Kate with us still?
Yeah, it looks like Patty got bumped again. Oh, there you go. You get knocked off again. And I want to clarify for people again, when Patty's speaking of God and whatnot, she's speaking of her higher self. Again, it's this whole, you're a newbie, right?
I'm a real newbie.
You just came out of the gate talking days, people. So don't worry, Patty knows who she is. Carry on, Patty.
Thanks.
Yeah, just before you do, Patty, I just want you to know you're not on your own. Believe you me, you're talking to other people here that have experienced this and some. So we're on the same page, but.
Thanks, Tony. So he's saying to me, well, write it down. So I wrote down, I am the queen bee. No one can touch me. And the letters that I had written to the 2 lawyers previous to this were signed by me, Patricia Woods. Well, he's saying to me now he goes, you put on your subject in capital letters, isn't that weird? I am the queen bee, no one can touch me. And that's the first thing that you see when you open your email, right? And so, and I just, you see, he showed me a long time ago that I was, I don't know how to say this, but
breathe, honey, just breathe. It's okay. You're amongst family here, not friends.
Thank you. That I was one of the 2 witnesses, and that's why I had these stigmata marks on me. and that I had a Joseph calling, and I was going to be going into the pit. But when I came out, that I was going to be delivered of all of my pride and materialism and everything else, and that he was going to be giving me this incredible wealth. And when I say me, I don't mean me personally, but I do in a way. It's like it's not my money. I understand that. This is, when he's showing me this, it's like, this is money for Israel. This is our inheritance. This is the 10 lost scattered tribes of Israel, and the Jews coming back. And it's the Israelites returning and getting their inheritance, getting their land.
Can I clarify inheritance, what we talked about earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Just to make sure everyone's on the same page with us. Now, again, I think allegorically, I think metaphorically. It's the songwriter in me. And when I hear things like the things we talked about today, all sorts of other visuals resonate with me. And as soon as you said about the wealth and bringing the inheritance back, I automatically went to the fact that money, as I've been trying to explain to people, is actually the skin of our brothers and sisters. The money is made off the bonds that are bonds of slavery and the literal life force of everyone on this planet. So when you're speaking of returning that wealth, is what allegorically is happening here is the return of the life force. By dismembering the money aspect and seeing it for what it is, it's a return of the life force. So take the dollar signs and the pound signs and all the rest of these other little sigils that they like to use. Lose those, get into the allegorical. This is about returning life force, the divine feminine. So carry on.
Right. Yeah, and so I, whatever shape, form, whatever that happens to be, that's kind of what my calling is, and I've known that, which it didn't surprise me when, I was going to be. It's funny because when I said to God, I'm going after my kid's inheritance, but sir, when I was getting into this whole thing, that's when he started showing me, this is the time. Like, you're doing this in the physical, because this is the next step, spiritual. And I was just walking it out. I was just kind of going, but I didn't even know it until I got halfway through it. And I thought it was just such a beautiful affirmation, because I didn't really want it to be about me or my kids, or, I wanted it to be more than that. I wanted it to be about us. And it was just because it's so lonely. I mean, if it's not about us and it's only about kids, it's too lonely. And so that's when he brought it in and he showed me that. And, that really gave me the power to keep going, because when I said these prayers, I guess about a day later, I was really feeling led to say these prayers again. So I got the prayer thing and I started praying it. Well, a couple of days before this, I was just being delivered a lot, and I said to him, I was so tired. I've been exhausted for so long. I can't remember not being exhausted. And when you get pushed and pushed and pushed, and I just said to him, I know where you're going with this. I can't do it. I said, you need to help me. And I said, I can't finish. I just can't finish. And I closed my eyes, and I literally saw him take my arm, not at my wrist, but at my elbow, and put his hand around it and pull me out. It was unbelievable. And he pulled me out, and he said, you haven't asked for my peace in all of this. You haven't asked for my peace. And I was just sort of learning about spiritual warfare and peace and love and everything else. I just a real newbie, and so I went, oh man, you're right, like I haven't. So I started saying, bring me your peace, fill me with your peace and your love and your frequency, and I kind of got all that. And the reason he did that was because, first of all, I didn't have the energy to wait that long because of the huge deliverance stuff that I was going through. He pulled me out and gave me that piece of information because he knew I didn't have the energy to do it. So that was a gift from him, because the next day I'm doing these spiritual warfare prayers again, and I'm doing this. It says, they can come in swarms. Well, all of a sudden I could feel this energy, and I felt it before, so I recognized what it was, and it was really, it was just changing in my frequency, and I could feel my vibration just go really, really low, and fear came in, and it happened so fast. I literally stopped in my tracks, and I just went, holy shit, what now? Because it was coming so fast and furious, and it was like my body was filling up with this darkness. And I said, I knew, what do I do? Because I couldn't figure out what to do. And he said, peace. And I went, oh, yeah, right. So I go, fill me with your peace, surround me with your peace. And it was good for a little while, but then I could the swarming happened again. And I'm like, oh, my God. And then he goes, he said, love your enemies. You fight war with peace, and you'll always win. You see, I've been doing spiritual warfare, not with peace. No wonder they were mad at me, because it was like, when you say something to somebody that's negative, you're just fueling the fire, and that's all I was. They were getting real pissed off at me, and they were retaliating. Well, yeah. As soon as I went, I got it. It was just like, thank you, and I'm going, fill these entities up with your peace, your love, your frequency. Just surround them. And I just kept saying it, and within seconds, it was just, I could feel it all disappear. And then I went and I lay down, and that's when he said, I am the queen bee, no one can touch me. And that's when I started sending, because then, at that point, I knew how to fight with love. I never knew this before.
Yeah, I want to really drive this point home, because this is, I've been talking about it lately a lot more, and I have before, but I love when things come back into the present. Mm-hmm. What you're talking about is the Chinese finger trap. See, because here's the thing, when you go after, if you consider something with fire is to use the equal and opposite resonance to nullify and, there's that word, neutralize it. And that's one of the reasons why they have so much power here, in that everyone that, goes to fight a parking ticket, you're only adding fire to the fire, and you're not putting it out. You're adding to the weight. That's exactly what they do. So, again, when I say they, what I'm talking about is the dark shadow, the dark principality, the dark Lilith, the dark and feminine aspect here, and masculine as well. So I just want people to keep that in mind. The harder you struggle at something using the same energy that is coming at you, the further you'll fall. So that is the magic lesson, in that love conquers all. And that's the toughest lesson to learn for everyone, me included. That was a big one for me. And yes, always had a loving heart, but I'll tell you, to get to the unconditional stage and love thine enemies, which enemy, as I've broke down before, means nemesis. E as a prefix means no, nemesis, vengeance. Love thine, no vengeance. So the word is equal and opposite. So let's change the intent. Remember, we talk about intent all the time here. Let's change the contract by changing the intent. And that's what you're doing. So there, well done.
Wow. What a way to learn, eh?
It's pretty intense. That's some serious school of hard knocks, especially when you're running up against a lot of things that people, you would go and try to tell someone, they look at you, you're nuts. I said, no, actually I'm not. This place is nuts. If you think this place is sane, you got issues.
No kidding.
So
yeah, absolutely true. It rings so many bells. It's like it's incredible. It's the same sort of experiences that I had.
Really?
Because, I was being attacked as well on a massive, massive level. And I mean, it wasn't even humans doing it. The things that were attacking me were what are called jinn. And they're very, very powerful beings. But yeah, it was just the fact that I went and saw what it was doing. And just the fact of me being there just provoked a situation where it ended up defeating itself, because it wasn't ready to handle what was coming at it. I didn't go for a fight. I just went there and started one.
There was something else here, and this is, for me, an absolutely critical question. It's not even so much a question as a statement. I'm glad this came in. Thank you, Divine Source Society. Someone's paying attention, and I'll get to you in a sec, Tracy. I'm just trying to go through everybody here. Anyway, Divine Source Society posted this, and I'm going to explain something that'll probably melt your minds, but it'll make a lot of sense. All right, here we go. I do that a lot. I like melting people's minds. It's fun. So they say this. Hi, Kate. I've been aware of the birth certificate and what surrounds us for 6 years, and on this journey I thought about how children have their foot pricked to extract a drop of blood and put it on a card at birth. There's my hawk saying we're on track, guys. This is done in Australia, so therefore done in other socialist Zionist countries. Absolutely it is. Every single one of them. Having had home births, it stood out to me because my midwife, who was very anti-establishment, still did this and told me it was to get the child's blood type. Well, I never received anything about the blood. When asking other mothers if they experienced the same, they said they were told it was for DNA testing or to see if vitamin K was needed, and many other stories, none of them getting a result back. That's when I realized it would be a blood ritual to go with the contract of the birth certificate. Absolutely, and I'm going to show you how to break that. Have you heard of this? Yeah. And if so, what do you think about breaking this part of the spell? I'm glad you brought it up because it's going to go in the unclean hands doc. So well done. Thank you for reminding me. Would have come back, but see, it might not have because, gosh darn it, if Divine Creator didn't send you this to me. I have thoughts on it. I would like to put it out there and see what others think. Well, I'll tell you what I think. When we've done shows on this, blood, by the way, is spirit essence. Blood implodes. Okay, your heart doesn't pump blood. It's absolutely useless to pump blood. It can't. The walls of it are too thin when you think of the pressures required to move blood through your veins. Blood moves through your veins electromagnetically. Your heart is a Merkaba. It is the as above, so below. It is a vortex field. And what it does is it creates the energy to allow the blood to flow in an implosion matter. Blood, and why it is so critical, is the DNA. 1, that's the program. 2, it is the spiritual essence of the body. It is the heaven and earth in one, in as much as the bee is both as well, because, well, it can't fly here. It needs something else, like maybe using gravity wells. So it's actually dealing dimensionally. So blood is an interdimensional. Okay, so that hopefully explains that. And using the blood on a, for whatever reason they're saying, here's a fact though, and I will say this, because there was misleading as to why it was being taken, that is fraud. Period. That is, fraud exposed is null and void, nunc pro tunc. So any blood that has been taken from any child on this planet whatsoever, without the truth being revealed, is fraud. And there was intent to commit fraud by concealing and not disclosing the truth of the matter. So they are in violation of divine universal law and will be handed their asses accordingly. This is how this works, right? And, okay. Yeah, sorry, Tracy. Johnny is QL Television. And she's saying that they're on air in a couple of minutes and I haven't heard from Johnny. Actually, Tracy, I will say you probably won't hear from Johnny tonight, given that Santo is en route right now. He's in the air, so I can only imagine Johnny being a little bit spun out trying to get stuff done, and he's probably forgot, and rightly so, given what I know they're going through right now to get Santo there and what have you. So hopefully that, excuse me, clarifies a little bit about the blood and the importance thereof. But just remember this. The thing that we're dealing with here is contract. The City of London lawyer, City of London state lawyer made it very, very, very clear. Here it is all about contract. And when we're speaking of contract, the as above, so below comes into play. Everyone thinks that it's some piece of paper. That's only part of it. That is the physical manifestation of an intent. It is the intent that is always senior to anything physical, because physical came after the intent. The physical realm is the egg. Spirit is the chicken that laid the golden egg. Put it in the right perspective. Everyone's putting the cart before the horse here. We need to about face. Remember I say about reversing? Reverse. Re, Son of God, as in the light. You are the light of God. And I'm going to tell you why you got to stop. There's a few things that have to get brought up, and I'll bring them up tonight. And that's why I'm glad you're here, Patty. Reverse, Re, Son of God, the light of God. You, the within you. Ver, from verily, meaning truth, and se, which is se. That's how I refer to Creator. Himself, herself, itself. And I should say, the word he is, if you, I can't remember the actual pronunciation in Hebrew, but it's very like heya, is actually feminine. It means she. So they've turned that over on us as well. You've got to put everything here in the mirror. This is the shade, the image of God. This is the likeness of God. You are God. And what you're seeing around you is the projection, the other side of the looking glass, Alice. Time to get out of Wonderland. Okay? We are Wonderland. That's what I cannot drive this point home enough as how beautiful and powerful you are. How badly we have been crushed down as the fallen. And we are rising. We are the phoenix rising. And I'm not talking Phoenician either. Okay? Tony, were you wanting to jump in on that?
No, you're fine at this point. Can't carry on.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Robert Otte and Matt
Presti.
Matt Presti. If you want to find out more about blood and what blood is actually doing, also I actually mentioned today, Dan Winter. Dan Winters does a beautiful expose on what blood is along the same lines of Russellian. Okay, so just if you want to do any more research into electromagnetic blood, how blood actually implodes as it moves through your veins, it is consciousness. It is spiritual consciousness. That's why when you lose so much blood, the body can't be sustained because it's lost its power, it's lost its battery. And that's what they're feeding off, guys. That's why they want the contract with the deed poll of the footprint to verify that they stop you from connecting to Mother Earth. They take the blood in order to add that to the contract, but they've done it without disclosure. They've done it in fraud. Fiat justitia ruat caelum, denique ultimatum reviro verum, okay? Though the heavens may fall, justice be done, you must stand in truth. That's what that means. That's why I used it. Anyway, carry on, Patty.
Wow. Yeah. Where was I now? I was, so the, where was I?
I don't know. I do that. I just tell people. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Well, let's get back to the whole lawyer thing, and you talk about bringing the inheritance back to the tribes of Israel. And I know an analogy here, and if I have to explain it for others, that's fine. But just carry on with how you got this info.
Okay. So I knew then that when he gave those words, I am the queen bee, no one can touch me, that gave me the confidence to know that they couldn't, because now I knew how to fight the battle. You know, I was fighting a losing battle with war and bad intention. And when I switched it over to peace and love, that's when I won, and that gave me the strength to go against these guys. And so it was weird, because it was like I was supposed to write grandiose, like it was like any dream that you would have or anything that you would want for the Israelites, or just whatever inheritance you think that you would want. And I just went, okay. And I just started writing, and all crazy stuff, and 44 million in my bank account every 2 weeks, and like crazy stuff. And I wrote it. Not only did I write it, I sent it to them by email, and I journaled it. I journaled it as well, and just really ridiculous, ludicrous stuff, right? But it was almost like, if you don't believe it, it won't happen. And I'm thinking, well, you know what? I do believe it, and so I had to keep saying that. In fact, I really actually didn't, but I was telling myself, like, fake it till you make it, right? That this was going to happen and manifest, and I ended up sending them these. This is the Law Society as well, right? And I think, Katie, you had mentioned before, and I may not be quoting you right, but that all the laws globally, all things around the world to do with law go through the Law Society?
Oh yeah, if you're dealing with a lawyer, you're dealing with a Bar Society member who is actually a citizen of the City of London state. And all the laws that are written anywhere in this on this world, 65 million plus, are applicable everywhere. See, that's the one thing they don't tell you. You know, everyone thinks, well, what code works here? And what, it all works everywhere, because it all came from the Bar Society. Not one of them is allowed to practice law anywhere on the friggin' planet. So, again, I mean, you know, it's time to break down the borders. There is no separation of church-state. The only separation there is us leaving it. That's the true definition of that line. So when you get the notion that every law, a law written in Zambia is applicable in Buenos Aires, okay, it doesn't matter. They can say this corporation, that corporation, but the fact is all the corporations go through the divine feminine capture point of the DC current, direct current, right? Washington, D.C. AC male, DC female. That's why it's Washington, D.C. That's why all the corporations are registered in D.C. That's where they are bottling the divine feminine. So we got them, boys and girls. Time to pull the trigger.
And I'd also like to add on that, what we've got is some of the main meridians or energy earth ley lines going through Washington, D.C., the Vatican, and various other places. There's an article on the front page of Syncrenicity that explains this, the harmonics, the energy lines, and events. Please, if you don't understand this, check it out, you soon.
Yeah, Tony does that. He just drops off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to talk now. Thanks, Tony. Oh, you're right. A couple of good videos. It's funny, I watched those videos, Tony, this time last year, which is kind of funny. It was shortly after they came out as far as the meridians and the 188-day cycles, and I've been following those relatively closely. Of course, a lot of that had to do with Ellen and whatnot, but and all the rest of the nonsense that went around that. But yes, definitely the ley lines are critical. These are the mapping grids of the planet. Far too much information to even start talking about it. Just watch the videos. The guy that put them together did homework that is deserved of a Nobel Peace Prize. There you go.
Is that Bruce Cathy?
Well, there you go, Tony. Take it over.
Say again?
Was that Bruce Cathy that did the...
No, it actually wasn't, but I am aware of Bruce Cathay's work, and I'm waiting for him to get back to me right now. I've just sent him a contact request. He has been in touch with me before in the past, but no, Bruce Cathay's work is incredible, the harmonic code. Awesome stuff, you know. Nukes don't work the way they told you, guys. You know, calm down, chill out, it's going to be fine. But no, it wasn't Bruce, but it was somebody else got in touch with these people as well. So there'll be more to come on this. So, pardon me, but carry on where you are going.
Thanks, Tony. Anyway, I thought, well, I'm going to just, you know, I mean, I got to tell you, you know, when you've got a husband or a wife or a partner or a friend, you know, near you to help you go through this, I never had that. I mean, I've got a picture of, my sister sent it to me at Christmas time. It's a picture she drew, you know, of God's hand with me in it, and it's sitting in the palm of his hand. And I looked at that every second day just to get through this thing. You know, really, you need to have something, and which is great. When I found you guys, it was just like I knew I was home. Everything that you say resonates with me. I just feel like you guys are the reason that I went through what I went through, and that I would do again. The other shit, no, but that I would do again, because
Nice to know.
It's for all of us. This is not about me. It's not about my journey. It's about the end of the journey. It's about all the stuff that we all acquire along the way, because then that's the prize. That's the fruit of the land. And wow, how cool is that? I mean, does it get any better? You know, the thing about this too is that, you know, we've all had our unbelievable burden to carry, and you know, I think whoever's listening is part of that group. Otherwise, I don't think you'd be listening. You wouldn't have been led here. But the nice thing is that, you know, finally, after all this
Tony,
time,
are you there?
Yeah. What's up, Carol?
Kate? Hello. Who's that?
Sorry. What's?
I think we all got. I think you guys got cut off.
Oh, we can't be because you're talking to us on the board.
Well, nobody's talking, and she went away.
Oh, okay.
And
I was here.
Hello, I'm here.
Okay.
Carol, can you hear me? Carol?
Oh, where did Carol go now?
Oh.
No,
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, loud and clear. But I did know that this was going to be a rather interesting evening. So I was. Nothing's going to shock me tonight.
No.
No, we're still hot on the board. Carol's still there.
We haven't finished yet.
What's that, Tom?
And I said we haven't finished yet.
No, we're just getting started, boys and girls.
The stuff you're saying, by the way, Bob, is absolutely just resonating. It's incredible. It's like, yeah, you're home.
Great. Yeah.
Lots more to come here.
Yeah.
Should I continue?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was just wondering what happened to Carol there, and I think maybe we might have just dropped off on her line. Yeah, just carry on. I think we're okay, and well, regardless, it's going to archive anyway. So Blog Talk's picking it up. I can hear it.
Okay, I'm almost done. I mean, we're kind of at the end of this anyway, but you know, just as I was saying, just going through this and coming out now, you know, knowing that, you know, I've studied the Old Testament, I've studied the New Testament, I know about the tribes of Israel, I know that this is so prophetic, if I can use that church word, and I know where we are, and I know who I am, we all do, who are listening. And the fact that by going up the ladder through the Law Society really cracked it open. I mean, you know, for me it was just like, it was almost like he gave me the code to get me up to the top so that I could break through. That's, I guess, you know, birthing, I guess. I don't know. So today, you know, this happened, you know, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and it, you know, it kind of progressed for a week before that, all in all. You know, I'm confident, but, you know, and I've been walking out this stuff too to make it manifest. I changed my bank account from my old one to my new one. You know, I would type in 44 million in my online bank thing for this stuff to manifest, and it was almost like I just felt like, you know, if you believe it, it'll happen. So don't even take your eyes off it, because I've thought it, I've written it, I've emailed it, I've spoken it, and I've walked these things out according to how I was being led. So my hope in all of this is that through myself and whoever else he's got doing this, I knew this was my calling. I've known this all along, and this is what I've been focused on, that this is going to bring the people of Israel back to the land that is theirs, rightfully theirs. And you know what? When I wrote the letter to the Law Society, I was just getting real, like I get real shitty, right? I got so much confidence now because they can't touch me. I am writing, I go, like they have that beehive mentality, right? And I go, well, guys, you know, I sent you the letter 2 days ago. I haven't heard from you yet. My demands are going to be getting a lot higher. By the way, you have a deadline now. And if I were you, I said, I'd be getting really buzzy, like a bumblebee buzz. I said, I put in brackets, I said, I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I mean, is that not funny?
Well, exactly, and as soon as we stop taking these wankers so seriously, we'll start beating the shit out of them properly with love. You know? That's why we got to lose the hate. We got to lose all the rest of it. And I'll use terminologies because I prefer to. It's fun, and you know, we know who they are, we know what they are, and we know they're beat, and we're here to save them. I've said that for a long time. You know, they're the sleepiest of all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I just want to point someone out there. Just briefly on this bee issue, I notice bees come up again and again and again and again. Let me just point you out to a fact. The bee's wings aren't big enough to support the weight of the bee. The buzzing of the bee and the harmonic that it generates an anti-gravity effect that supports the weight of the bee. That's why the bee can fly. It's not the wings. The wings just generate the buzz. And it's actually the anti-gravity effect with the harmonic that makes the bee fly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't want the queen bee position anyway. I guess you got that idea when I sent you that email, Katie. Like, you know, I'm just saying, like, who the hell is this queen bee? And, like, I'm not a queen bee.
Well,
I don't want to be one.
That's the thing. In retrospect, we actually all are. Again, that to me is allegorical. And that's finding the resonant harmonic of the divine feminine. All right? I'm just tying in what Tony said and what you said. Knowing that it is the divine feminine that has been snared here to the register. It's not coincidental that they, you know, the thing at the counter is called a cash register, because what they're doing is collecting all the energy of the divine feminine that has been surrendered to them via fraudulent intent on their part and willful consent on our parents' part. Right? So again, it's every street has you know, two directions. So while everyone was running all the way down the same street in the same direction, attacking the same thing, I thought, well, that's kind of madness. It's got to work both ways. And with me, for me looking at the system, I had to figure out what the hell it was I was doing wrong. What was causing me to be in dishonor? How was I in a willful trap? And it got pretty clear. It took a while. It took a lot of shredding of certain beliefs and understandings. But I tell you, when you get to the notion that every contract we have entered into using the birth certificate name that is a spiritual contract is actually a fraudulent one, and we have aided and abetted in our own fraud. That's why when you walk into a courtroom, and I don't care until people get this concept, you're gonna be in contempt of court, and you're aiding and abetting the court into criminal activity, and that's why the prosecutor has direct orders by definition of prosecutor or prosecute, which means do not pursue. So we have to chase our own tails. We have to be our own heads and tails of the dragon and devour ourselves, and that's what they're doing. They're getting us to devour ourselves. And I said, well, I'm not eating any more of that shit. I'm not a cannibal. And that's what everyone's got to stop doing that. Stop cannibalizing each other, yourself especially. And when we go chasing after these different things, illusions that have been created, constructs, knowing full well what they are, once it's understood and the intent changes, it's a different paradigm. It's, you know, people, once they realize that the paper money they're walking around in is the literal flesh and life source of everyone else on the planet, they might be a little bit more mindful of how they use it, and instead of trying to gather up as many pounds of flesh nearest the heart, Shylock, as you possibly can, you might satiate that desire to, you know, maybe curtail it a bit, this whole desire to devour your fellow man. They have us eating ourselves, guys. Literally. On the spiritual level. And you wonder why so many people's auras are failing? Please.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, some pretty heavy stuff, guys.
Yeah.
I'd be really curious to hear, and how long ago did you send these emails out, by the way?
The last one, well, what happened was, then, you know, I sent these out, but I don't quite understand what. I'm going to tell you what I did, and then you can feed it back to me as to what you think it is, because I don't quite get it. Well,
okay.
So I sent these emails, which was, the last one was probably a week ago, I think. And what I did is sent them, and then I canceled, I was led to cancel the claim against Tim and Jim. The Law Society gave me till April 12th to write back. If they didn't hear from me, they would have closed the file, but I actually did write back with my letters. But after that time period, I was led to drop the case, so I emailed them and told them to forget it. I've dropped the case, the complaint against them. And I also sent them emails just a couple of days ago, Tim, Jim, and the Law Society, saying, just forgive me for bugging you guys so much. I hope you can forgive me as I have forgiven you. And I said, I just hope that your life and everything is filled with the love and peace and joy that everyone deserves.
That's right. Right up to the point where you're going to give me their email addresses, and I'm going to have a bit of a party with them, if that's okay.
Oh, God, I knew it. I love you.
Playtime. Katie's in the mood.
My body is just tingling all over right now.
It's time to shove a little truth down their proverbial necks.
Wow. Well,
wakey, sleepies. Got to get you up. We're all a bit tired of waiting for you. Big party coming, and you're slowing it down for the rest of us. So let's get you awake and get you all dressed with your nice little slippers and all the rest of it, and wake you up.
Oh, Katie, can I ask you a question?
You just did.
Talked about it. Yes, you're right. Too then. You mentioned it earlier in the show that, like when now they know that I know, okay, so they know that. So they know who I am, and they know that they've gotten my inheritance. So when you said that they had to do a whole bunch of backtracking and stuff, does that mean that when people are awakened, they know who they are and they have to now go fix all the stuff that they did wrong?
See, that's the whole premise of where I walk, in that I have no vengeance. I have no vengeance whatsoever. Once a fraud is exposed, in as much as a time jump has occurred, that has to be corrected. That has to be made right. Every wrong, this is what, you can talk karma all day long. I prefer to, think of it in another way. Every wrong, in terms of harming others that you've ever done, you're experiencing the backtracking right now of getting that cleaned up. And here's the joy of walking the path I do. I must have been some nasty, nasty bitch. Seriously, I have no quims or qualms about that. Because here's the thing. In order to see more light, one must have witnessed more dark. Mm-hmm. It only stands to reason. Mm-hmm. And people say, well, why are you so enlightened? Well, probably because I was some evil bastard. Mm-hmm. All of us were. All of us. Yep. All of us. Mm-hmm. And this is the mirror that we have such a hard time looking into. Have a look. You might have some resonance with that. The troubles that we go through are the ones that we are repenting right now, and by our actions we are known in that repentance. It is those that are still going, no, I didn't do anything wrong. Well, guess what? Your consciousness is just getting less and less until it's a part of the consciousness that is no longer required and will be obliterated, as if it never was. That's the joy of the creator mind. Creator can imagine and think whatever it wants. I know. I'm creator. So are you. So is everybody. Mm-hmm. And I certainly don't want any of this nonsense and nastiness in my game. I think we could spend a better, infinity having fun. Mm-hmm. But here we go. In order to seek the greatest light, we must also seek the greatest dark. So it is a good thing. Yeah. That's why people have got to stop in this duality of, well, they're all evil and we're all good. No, they're all evil and good, and we're all good as well.
But Katie, you know what? Just with that information that you just said, having gone through all the darkness that, many of us have gone through, that only by going through that are you really able to flip it around and forgive your enemies, because you, at that point, you understand it and you're going, holy shit, this is so easy now, whereas before it was so hard.
Well, yeah, I mean, here we have a lot of beings in my life, in particular, around me, that have created incredible amounts of harm against me. That is not something I would do to them.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about the golden rule: that which you do wish upon others, you have wished upon yourself. You see, that's why you cannot judge, because in one's actions, one is already judged. Because the action is the egg and the thought is the chicken. The chicken came first, guys and girls. Okay?
I see, yeah.
So I have nothing but pity. I have no vengeance against these entities, because they're going to have to experience having their family ripped apart, having everything in their life stolen, left destitute, and all the rest of it. Each one of them is going to have to experience this, because they were part and parcel and party to it.
And the only reason that I, as a person, can even say, you know, that I don't want so-and-so to be punished or hurt, and the only reason I can say that with my heart is because I have been that hurt person, and I know what it feels like. You know, you can't give away what you don't own.
That's right, and that's why I will only wish upon those that which they have wished upon themselves. I will never trespass that free will choice. That was yours. I've had mine. You get yours. And, you know, do I take joy in that? Well, okay, I'm still got a little ego there, you know, of course. You know, yeah, I told you. But let's just say the benevolence aspect comes into play in that not only am I willing to let that occur, I'm also there to say, I gotcha. I'm here. You're okay. We'll sort it out. Right?
Right.
So there's the benevolent side of it. There's no malevolence here. And I think with me it's more along the lines of a bit of a chuckle going, told you. Yeah. I fucking told you. You wouldn't listen. I was trying to help you. I was trying to awaken you. I was trying to show you how all your mortgages. I'm talking to the cops and the mayors and all the rest of these silly wankers that aren't to know, okay? I'm telling you guys this right now. No, I guess you didn't want to know how your mortgage was fraud and how the whole banking system has owned your sorry ass and has you controlled by your ego. I guess you didn't want to understand that you are living on less than table scraps in terms of what your masters are doing to you. I guess that's not important to you. I guess you want to slug it out 40, 50 hours a week for the rest of your miserable existence, drop body, and do it again. You know? Sorry, I was just trying to help. I mean, okay, fine. I'm trespassing on free will choice. Granted, you know, I didn't mean to. I thought I was doing the right thing, but it's all good. It's all good. At the end of the day, the only judge we have is the mirror we stand in front of, and you better be able to look at that and give it the right answer, because it's you. You are all are you. That's why I love watching my mirror reflections get brighter and brighter and brighter, because as the reflections coming in from all these beautiful all-sparks of little sparks of the all-spark, all that's telling me is that I'm getting it right.
Yep.
That reflection is telling you, the reflection of me is telling me that I'm getting it right. And that's where we are now. Instead of feeding off of each other, we are co-creating with each other. There's no competition anymore. This is pretty cool shit. Guaranteed we're going to have a big party, and everyone's going to want to do their thing and just keep adding and adding and adding to it. Can you imagine, instead of having all this competition that rips mankind apart by making one better, one lesser, imagine all of us working in the same direction with the same co-creation intent. Let's just say a typical project that would take 20 years to develop on Earth, with competing bids, of course, would probably take about a week with concerted effort with non-competition, and everyone working together for the betterment of all. And when you are in service to all, when you are in service to others, when everyone gets that ideal, what do you need to worry about? Because if everyone's in service to everyone, you're being served anyway. In as much as you're serving others. So put that in the mirror. Or better yet, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
You know what's interesting, just as we're talking about this, is that, you know, my sister has been probably, you know, if I were to look at it and tell you what I thought a month ago or 2 months ago, I would have said she's been my worst enemy. Like, she's just been so mean to me. you know, she's all her stuff is all why I'm the way I am. I mean, that's what I would have. But
well, she's still in the Christian realms of thinking. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That's the problem, because what you're dealing with now is there's that beautiful. I gave you a gift. No, you gave me an obligation. Apparently. Mm-hmm. You know. See, here's the thing, right? When someone, this is the difference between a gift and an obligation. You see, because when the birth certificate was handed over, that was actually not a gift in as much as it was an obligation to the state. The state took that obligation upon themselves. Now, if they want to consider it a gift, well, it's yours anyway, so I don't care. I want nothing to do with it. And based on the fraud, I don't want any part of aiding and abetting in anyone's fraud that's going to harm anybody. So, yeah, different game today, boys and girls. Different game.
It's so interesting how it, you know, when you're able to get to that point where you can and you see and you understand, and in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, in your body, you do get it about forgiveness and about other people's pain. When you get there, it's just like the switch does go off and everything is turned around. Everything is easier. You just see it for the way that it really is.
Yeah. And there's only one being you need to forgive. You know who that is?
Me.
Yeah, because if you're forgiving someone outside of you, you've already judged them as having done something wrong, you judgmental prick. The only one you forgive is the only one you can judge. You.
Mm-hmm.
Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, the clues are there, right?
Well, I think, you know, too, with the whole thing about who's the enemy. We are.
Mm-hmm.
We're our own worst enemy. The enemy doesn't lie out there. They're our best friends. My sister, who I thought was my worst enemy, today she's my best friend. And I said to her in my last email, I said, you know, Linda, I said, I get it. I said, I now know one of the reasons why I went through all that I went through was so that I could see that all the people that have so come against me are my best friends, especially the ones right now at the bitter end where, you know, they're just trying to get their last digs in before I'm really not a newbie anymore, right? Mm-hmm. They're on me like shit to a blanket. And I'm just going, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, thank you. You know what? If it wasn't for you, and I'm talking about a friend who I had for years and years and years. Our kids grew up together. I love her dearly. She'd give you the shirt off her back. I know who she is. See, the thing is, I know who she is. It's not the person who's attacking me. That's not who she is. But you know what? I love that anyway, because it's getting me out of where I am, and it's also allowing me to understand how to love my enemy.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant.
Absolutely. I mean, and this is the thing. We put ourselves through our own trials and tribulations. This is the test by fire. You know, it's not because some, you know, bloodthirsty, penis-bearing deity that was created in the literal sense of the Bible said so. No, sorry, I wouldn't send my own kid to die for a job I should have done myself, you cowardly bastard. You know, yeah. There's a great parent for you, eh? Yeah, well, listen, some trouble on the planet I created, and I don't feel like doing it. Hey, JC, you're going to get crucified. You know, and by the way, I'm going to make everybody love you and hate you at the same time, and I'll see you when you get back. I think American Idol's coming on. You know, that kind of mentality, and that's the kind of disdain I have for all religions. They are organized crime, basically, for lack of a better word, modified mob. But you know, again, the only one you can forgive and the only one you can judge is yourself. And the minute you get that concept fully, you're going to have a whole lot more peace in your life. And it's like, even I was saying to you earlier today with the emails that came back from my daughter. I know program when I see it, and I know attempts to try to crush me. As I said to you, 5 years ago, I had got something like that from my oldest daughter. It would have devastated me.
Well, you know what? I totally agree too. And my sister had said, like, it's funny because I'll say something really benign in the email, just chit-chat stuff, and her email back is just like attacking, like, oh my God, where'd this come from, right? So I just sort of rested, and I have a binder here that I have all of the beautiful qualities of Jesus Christ, and I thought, I'm just going to send those back to her. So I wrote, My dear, sweet, loving sister, thank you. You are so humble, lovely, gracious. They're all there must have been like 20 of them I wrote out, and I said, thank you for being my lovely, lovely sister. She emailed me back, totally diffused. The attack was gone. Everything was gone. It totally cut it off.
Well,
and
you made her accountable. Yeah, you made her accountable for her own bullshit. That's all you did.
Yeah.
Beautiful to do that. Hand it back.
Isn't it?
If somebody hands you, anybody hands you a shit pie and you don't want to eat it, just hand it back.
Yeah.
You didn't create it. It's up to you whether you take the debt or the obligation or the gift. So, look at you.
But don't you?
Perfect example.
Right. But don't you think too, Katie? Like when you put it, like you said, when you put something on an email and you send it through, it goes viral, right? Like because I wrote those about my sister. Like I'm trying to help her too, right? And I'm trying to figure out how the best way to do that. I have claimed that for her, right? Like I've said, these are your qualities. So that the thought came. Now I've written it, right?
Yep. I was just going to add to what you just said there. I mean, I've said it before many times. You know, this JC character didn't say worship me; he said be me. Okay, I can work on that. And you can do greater things than I. Okay, well, that's pretty humble. I'm liking that. That's truth. Anyone that can hand that stuff over in that form, especially when you take the time to watch Jesus Christ Superstar, you get the idea of the whole concept of what this individual could have had he given into the contempt of court, temptation. Lead us not into temptation thing. And no, he just said no. In a nutshell, guys, the only thing you have to say to yourself is this: I cannot be bought. Full stop. Game over. And the minute you don't have a price, you become priceless. You become the infinite. So it's time to stop putting dollar values on your existence. And what we're dealing with here are a lot of beings that are so degraded to such a level that they have placed a monetary value on their existence. And they are bought and paid for. And as a result, if you're bought and paid for, what are you? You're a slave. So time to remove the price tag. Make yourself priceless. At all costs, nothing can buy me. And I've had many experiences in my life where I could have had the world by the tail in so many ways, but I went, no, that smells like, no, that's not somewhere I want to live. So I moved along. We got about 14 minutes left here. I'm just going to see if anybody wants to jump in here. If you push 1, I actually know now how it works. So if you do have any questions or comments and you want to jump in, just press 1 on your keypad or computer or whatever. On your phone, press 1, and I'll know that you want in the call here to maybe... Just
for reference, on Skype, there's a plus sign when you move your cursor over the window. If you hit that plus sign first, a keypad will appear.
There you go. That's right, add to call. Very good. Look at you, Tony. You're becoming a Skype whore just like me.
You wish.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I've been kind of in my zone here, and I've been ignoring Skype here.
Can I make a comment?
You just did.
Okay, goodbye.
Go ahead, Carol. Absolutely.
I have a wonderful
friend. Do me a favor. Stop asking for permission and stop apologizing. This is your show.
Well, I don't like to just blurt in, I mean, Jiminy.
I love it when people blurt in.
Not me, honey. My son is conjunct with Mercury.
Oh, gotcha.
I got to watch it. Anyway, I have a dear friend. She's a healer and a wonderful human being, and we were talking about people that just get our goat and hurt us sometimes, and she said one day, she says, oh, Carol, she says, I just assume that I trashed their chariot in a previous lifetime, and I smile and go on. And I love that. I remember that now and then, and it is good for a giggle, and it kind of puts things in perspective too. So maybe it'll hit home with somebody.
Absolutely. Someone that has been typing here, they think they're dyslexia, or as I call it, lysdexia. Save me from the brainwashing spells. Here's to all of you out there that have dyslexia. You lucky bastards. The reason why you are awake is because of your dyslexia. The spells could not stick. The sigils were working backwards. So, well done. That means you were just a little bit more aware than others coming in here. So take the win. It's a beautiful thing. So very, very well done. So if anyone thinks it's something wrong with them, that which is wrong with you is actually what is right with you. Isn't that cool? I love that. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Oh, mirror, mirror on the wall. Someone pushed 1. We have a call. Here we go. 754. Sorry, that was silly. I'm shutting up now. Area code 754 21. Your mic is open. What have you got? Hello. Oh, don't worry. We'll wait. Somebody pushed 1. Area code 754 214. First 3 numbers. If you keep it up, if you don't answer the phone, I'll tell you the whole number. No, I'm kidding. Hello, area code 754.
Hello.
There you are. Yay.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Just hanging out here, listening to you guys. My dad in Live Oak, Florida, he told me about your call. Because I listen to a lot of the, I'm an avid fan of, Nasara, and I'm pretty knowledgeable about what's going on in the world. But I was listening to you, and I agree with everything you were saying.
Well, gosh, I hate when that happens. makes for boring radio. I'm kidding. It's perfect.
I know. I'm not one of those type of callers that call and say, hey! I ain't like that.
That's perfect.
But I was just basically a listener. My name is Anthony. I live here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I'm going to start listening to your call. This is the first time I was listening, and I like it because you're talking about serious topics, but with a humorous overtone.
When we're talking about the potential destruction of our spiritual humanity, you better keep it light because I think there's enough shit going on without worrying about it.
I know that's right.
Hey, we're all in, right? That's the whole point. We came here to change this game, and what's the line? Oh yeah, human extinction? Not in my lifetime.
Yeah, I know that's right, man. With all the corruption and fraud that's going on, with all the banking officials, and I mean it's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing to the people.
Yeah, well, again, they're going to be standing in their own mirror. Many of them already are, and the rest very shortly. And it's not about going out and knocking heads and whatever. I prefer to let evil just destroy itself. That's by definition of what evil is, right? It has to destroy itself. So we just bring steam shovels and bulldozers and everything else just to push it along a little bit. That's all.
I agree. Let them self-destruct themselves.
Well, exactly. I mean, you'll hear me joke about my chainsaw, my flamethrower. Chainsaw, I sharpen it really good, and I work it manually because I don't want to waste any of the fuel I use in the flamethrower. And besides, there's a whole lot more satisfaction when you're, sawing through with. Maybe I will fire it up one day.
I hear you. You guys are on. I think my dad told me 6 days a week or something, from 7 to 9.
Yeah, 7 nights a week, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna start listening in as much as I can. I'm busy with a lot of things, the Moorish movement and all those other things. So.
Oh, Anthony, we got some tools for you, my friend. And Thursday night is Leaving the Farm with Tammy Pepperman and Pat Chuley, and I sit in on that one as well. So that's why I say I go 7 nights a week, because I do. But definitely you'll want to listen into that. But there is a lot of information coming out right now. For some fun, this is a shout out for everybody. Love the birds, eh? Unbelievable.
Love that.
Oh, they come and hang out here. It's awesome. I don't know. It's the energy, I think. But
it is. Yeah, I feel it. It's good energy.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, and the birds show up. They want to hear too. Now, if you get a chance, just Google "The Long and Short of It" by Kate of Gaia.
Okay, let me write that down. So, just like it sounds, the long and short of it.
You got it. It got posted to Scribd yesterday, and have a read of that, and tell me you won't be surprised when you're done. Came at this from an entirely different viewpoint. Tis the nature of my being. I'm kind of here backwards to begin with. So you want to talk about dyslexia? Transgendered. Huh, I got it backwards, guys. Anyway, I've been standing on the other side of this mirror my whole life. I'm going, this place is messed up. You know, so anyway.
Okay, now, you crazy. Yeah, I like it, though.
Well,
now, you said that. Now you said it's the long and short of it. It's like the word "and" or "and" sign.
And the complete word. And make sure you put Kate of Gaia beside it, because it'll pull it up immediately.
Okay, the long and short of it.com?
No, it's just Google that. That'll bring the Scribd up. I don't have the link handy, or I'd tell you, but I know it's on Scribd. And on Facebook, I upload it. I upload all my documents when and where I can. So, and of course, you can go to Syncrenicity.com. That's our home website.
Okay, I'm trying to get. I want to make sure I get all the information right. The long and short of it, and there was something else you said after that.
By Kate of Gaia. That's Gaia.
At my Kate.
No, it's not at anything. It's just you're going to Google the long and short of it by Kate of Gaia. Just Google that. Put it in the search.
Just go to
that's what I was trying to figure out. By the Cape of Gaia?
Yeah, by Kate of Gaia. Now, as Tony was just going to say there, you can just go to our website. I believe, is the link there, Tony?
It will be. You can put it there right now.
Okay, I got to dig it up. Okay. Our website is Syncrenicity.com. That's SYNCRENICITY.com. And
okay,
that's all.
SYNCRENICITY.
You got it. And that's everything, Tony, Santo Bonacci, and Kate. That's all three of us. And boy, won't you be surprised when you see my picture. Huh. Anthony, I'm telling you, man, you're going to go, that voice? From that? Are you Yeah, it's real, man. It's fun.
That blew me away. Oh, my God.
Well, yeah, you got the chance to chat with me today face to face. Yeah. I don't look anything like my voice.
No.
They say most radio announcers don't.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have a face for radio, yes. Well, that's the thing is everyone gets a certain visual of what someone looks like, and then when they actually see what I look like, they go, "No shit." It's all good. Oh, and I guess you've been following stuff for a while. We got 3 minutes left here. We'll roll past the hour a bit, so hang on a sec, guys. Critical Mass Radio. Big thank you to criticalmassradio.co.uk. Paul, Lisa, and the crew. You guys kick ass for giving us a platform 7 nights a week where we can raise a little hell to the heaven levels. That's where we're going. That's where I live. So there you go. Much obliged to and of course the listeners. We would be nothing without you because this is your show. Like I say, I just push buttons on the board and everywhere else I can. Give me a button, I'll push it. Not the red one though. Not the red one. But where was I going there? Forget what I was going to say.
Thank you, listeners. You said thank you, listeners.
Yeah, no. Before I went to do all the thank yous, Anthony had said something that triggered, and I just wanted to share it. Oh, anyway, that was what I was going to do. If you've been involved in the Truth Movement at all, you might have seen a video I was in a slightly different mode. It's the only one I ever uploaded, called Judge Bows to Sovereign. I figured that's all I ever need to post. I wish, you know what, I wish they had that YouTube money thing way back when, clicks on it, because I know it's been hit by countless millions. Judge bows to sovereign. It'll be the only time in recorded history you will ever see a judge bow to anyone, and I'm it.
I love it. Rightfully so.
Well, he saw the Divine Feminine, and he knew, and I said this yesterday, I'm loving this line. This is such a great line. I know that you know that I know who I am.
I love that.
Let's play.
I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, he's one of the higher ups in the know. He was one of the dark, and that's why he bowed. He knew better.
He knew. They know, don't they?
Oh, they know. They know. They are walking a very fine line, and I just brought the big tripwire.
But can they tell by looking at you, Kate?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Better yet, they know everyone. And Tony, you can jump on this all night long. They know everyone that's coming into this game. They have the chronovisors, they have the technologies, they can look around and see what's going on, and they will place every manner of bullshit in front of you to trip you up, to break you, to cause you all sorts of, mayhem so that you will not awaken. Unfortunately, I have a Leo ascendant. And if you go to Human Design, I also have the 59-6 line, too. That means
what is that?
Dissolution. It's the most powerful line in the Human Design. It means that nothing breaks you.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and Tony, you've got that one, too, eh, Tony?
Yeah, just a bit. And a few others.
Oh, yeah, you've got one hell of a Human Design chart. You've got a scary one. And
how do you get a Human Design chart?
Human Design America. Just go there and punch in your coordinates, and you'll get to see a bit more about your own design. This is it too with the Friday nights with Santo Bonacci. We do syncretism where Santo will start sharing charts with you. Mute out if you're going to bang your computer, eh?
Sorry.
That's okay. I do it all the time. Tony gives me shit, so it's your turn tonight. Yeah, and again, it's about finding out who you are, and the best way to find that out is through the holy science. That is your design chart. That's the design you came in with, and that's why we got 10 seconds before we go off the air. The archives, don't worry, guys. We probably won't run too long after tonight, but the archives will be there.
Yeah, if we can just mention as well, Syncrenicity is the place to go. Incredible information on the front of that page, the video archives, all sorts of resources, links and information. So it'd be good if you can get yourself to the front page and navigate from there.
Indeed. Cool. Indeed. I mean, we do our best to gather as much information and as many of the people that are delivering the right information to Synchronicity. There's no point in chasing our tails. We've done enough of that. One of the things that I do take a lot of time and pride and energy put into is the research that has been done. I do expect everyone, regardless of what I say, to do their own due diligence. What we will do is give you bullet points. Go ahead and research this. We've done the backgrounds on it. I speak from experience. I don't speak from the book. I don't speak from theory. I don't speak from somebody else's opinion. What I share on these shows, as Tony and the rest of us, what we share is our life experience. Things that we have encountered, things that we're first-on, hands-on, face-to-face encounters with life. Everything else is hearsay. And that's probably one of the reasons why this show does resonate with so many, because those that do the same thing will definitely be here. That's what truth is. Truth resonates. And I used the analogy yesterday. I'll share it again quickly today. Dominant frequency. I need you guys to understand how powerful you really are. You are the most beautiful, divine light essences in this universe. I know you are, because you're me. I see my mirror. If you take 100 clocks and place them in a room, I'm going to show you how powerful you are, and you need to get this. 100 clocks, you place them in a room, and they're all ticking at different points, so it's just basically a noisy cacophony of everything out of sync. Come back a couple hours later, and what you're going to find is 100 clocks ticking in absolute unison. And I'll tell you why. It's a law of dominant frequencies, and that's about resonance. Resonance is where it's at. That's why when you pick up the phone to call someone and they're already calling you and it hasn't rang and you're going, hey, I was just going to call you. Well, I just called you. Oh, man, that's funny. That's your telepathic link. That's your telephone in the ether. That's resonance. You've resonated the same thought at the same time. Therefore, you're connected, and you've connected telepathically. So don't doubt your abilities. You are gods. Get over it. Time to start acting like one. What happens with the dominant frequency, and this is why they drive the fear porn home here. That's why they want you looking at the Boston bombing and the LA, Fritz Dorner and all the rest of the stuff. Hey, I'm guilty of it too. I just minimize it and I don't flow it any energy, because that's what they want. Where attention goes, energy flows. And if they're manifesting a play acting, which is what all these false flags are, all play acting, 9/11 included. Unfortunately, there are innocent bystanders that get taken out in these things while they decide to play act their nonsense to scare everyone. Once we get into a high point frequency, and you get someone else that matches with you. Here's an example. Did you not notice that at the time of your awakening, that as soon as you located one individual that was of like mind, others started appearing out of everywhere? That's a fact. That's called dominant frequency, and it's working in the ether. You've got to lose this physical manifestation nonsense. Yes, it's very real. We're here. We're playing it. Yeah, I get hit with a 2x4 in the head. I'm going to feel it. Absolutely. What I'm trying to do is to get people above that reality, instead of being at effect to it, to be cause over it. And only the spirit, the thought, the intention can change that cause. There's no amount of meat sticking that you can do to change a damn thing without your mind being in the right place. That's why a meat stick, if you let it, will walk off a cliff. Without any thought, it will do whatever, right? You are that important. So be the dominant frequency. Stand on the high ground. Hold that energy high. It's a law of vibration. And when you resonate at a high vibration, and someone else does, you start attracting those that are very close to you, because that dominant agreement starts attracting moths to the flame. Another law is nature abhors a vacuum. As soon as you resonate somebody up with you in that frequency, you've created a vacuum below them. What happens to the vacuum? One below them gets sucked up into it. So here we are. We can either be love and pull everyone up, or we can watch the fear porn and everyone gets pulled down. Choose. I just chose love. That was a no-brainer. I actually, straw man. There it is. Wizard of Oz. The answer was right there if you could see it. The last to go will see the first three go before her. The straw man, the tin man, and the cowardly lion. So let's take the allegory and put it into real terms for everybody. Straw man is the mindless one, the fiction. Yeah, we all know what the straw man is. And once we realize that we're not the straw man, or the fiction, then we move into a different reign. Then we move into, let's find our heart. The tin man was looking for a heart. He was an empty vessel. So we had an empty-headed one that was dead. The scarecrow is a dead entity. So we decided, okay, well, we're not that. So let's lose the anger and the fear and the hate and the greed and the lust and all the rest of it. And let's find a heart. Let's find ourselves and put that heart back into our vessel. Tin Man's got a lot of other different things all around it. All of the three characters do, actually. But let's just stick to the basics. With the Tin Man, you put the heart in, the vessel is now full. Now, as you continue on down the yellow brick road, there's only one thing left you have to find in order to find your Toto Jeannery, which is your full character. Yeah, that's in Black's Law. Toto Jeannery. Toto, my little dog Toto. We're not in Kansas. That's why I use these terms. The cowardly lion. Once we move down that yellow brick road, what we're doing is we are losing our cowardly lion step by step until we get to the point where we pull back the curtain of the wizard. We see that it is an empty, powerless vessel that only can have power with that which we grant it. This dark energy has nothing without our giving it to it. That's a fact. If you feed the dark, you expect it to come. That's why I choose not to. So we have to conquer the straw man, find our heart in the tin man, and then, of course, conquer the fears. And do those baby steps, guys. Don't be jumping into stuff you cannot handle. Now, what you were saying earlier, Patty, was just, taking on the millionfold. Yeah, that's kind of my style, too. So,
I figured it was.
Yeah. By the way, Tony. Yeah, Tony, Patty is third deacon Taurus, brings in first deacon Gemini. Just like someone else I know. Yeah. Oh. You've got a kindred here. There we go.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love you, Tony.
Absolutely. In the mirror.
Absolutely. It's actually 2 days apart in the mirror. How's that? In a couple of years, but nothing much. But, guys, this is where we got to find ourselves within. And, I talk about this every night, and the only reason I do is because it's that important. And I know we get a lot of new listeners, and I'm sorry if I repeat myself a lot to the regulars, the stalwarts. I won't call you regulars. You're not regulars. You are the stalwarts and the pillars of Hercules for me, and I can't thank you enough. Nothing like having a whole lot of purpose. Thank you for that. Hard to be a servant if you don't have that.
You just said it beautifully, what you just said about the straw man, and the way you put it out, it really is beautiful. It was just poetic.
Well, it's pictures.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I love painting pictures. It makes it a lot easier, you know. Everything we needed to learn, we learned in kindergarten. So I'm digging that. I think that's like great, you know. I know you already know how to tie your shoelaces and everything. We're not going to go that far, but no. The point is, everything we needed to learn, we learned at the age of 5. You know, it was all there. Everything, you know, the love, the sharing, the co-creation with your friends. You didn't care what color, religion, or anything else anybody else was. You know, you take 100 kids, 100 5-year-olds from all different points of the world, different languages and everything else, and you throw them all in the same, you know, playground. They're going to have a blast. And not one of them is going to want to go to war with another because somehow my God is better than your God, and I'm going to kill your sorry ass to prove it. You're not going to find that in a 5-year-old. And this is where we need to find the child within. So we've been the child and ignorant of the child, and we've come up through our adulthood in our own ignorance, and now what we've done is we found the knowledge, turned it into wisdom by acting upon that knowledge, and now we return to the child. Isn't that cool? Full circle. Creation is a circle, guys.
When I was 5, I was stood in the playground going, what the bloody hell's going on here? Where am I?
Yeah, you too, huh? Yeah, it's a strange place, this. It really is.
Oh, dear.
Well, you know, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. But yeah, look up Toto Jeannery in Black's Law. It means to be in your full character. Body, mind, spirit. And that's the only thing that you need to reclaim here. You got to bring Toto back home. And the only place the Emerald City ever was and ever will be is inside of you. It's called your heart. It's called your Anu, where that little point of beautiful light, and it has been located, it burns at about 3,000 to 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit inside your heart, at the dead center, the 0 point of that vortex, Merkaba, that we call the heart. It is an imploding unit. When you look at the nebula, you will see the exact same thing there, where the stars are being birthed out of it. You know, out of it's a masculine Anu. A feminine is the reverse torsion field, where everything comes into the void, and with the masculine everything comes out. Right. Lots of interesting science here. That Walter Russell, absolutely someone that people should look into for background on a lot of the technicals of this.
That's what he's saying. This is a deep call. He's talking spirit. You know, talking about just more stuff. He's talking about the spirituality. And hello.
Yeah, we covered all, my friend.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, okay. I was talking to my girlfriend. I said, this is a really deep call. I didn't know you guys were listening. I said, you guys talk about everything spiritually and everything good.
Yeah, well, no, I always, when I open a line up, especially when we go into the recording, sorry, I should have told you, Anthony, you're a new caller, so when you come to this table, you belly up, baby, and you sit, and you just talk with the rest of us.
And you think this is deep, mate?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you think Tony just said it. You think this is deep? You should see the shovels we have.
On the front of JCB.
I hear you. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, my girlfriend has. Yeah, they have websites. I got everything written down. Yeah, well, I got a pretty big shovel myself. So I just every day I go to work and I live my life, and I don't let these crazy worldly distractions throw me off point, and I'm constantly seeking and searching.
And you're being here. Here's another thing I love to share with people. Do you realize how important you are? Do you have any idea how important you are? Because
yes, I do.
What you are, and I was talking to Ninja last night about this, and Donna over in Ireland, and Ninjas in Holland. What I said to them is what I say to everyone. It would not make a whole lot of sense if we took all these beautiful points of light and stuck them in one city, would it? So what do we need to do? Well, we need to create a grid of our own. And of course, the light warriors that showed up here, you, everybody listening, showed up here for a very specific job, and that's why we're scattered across the planet. There's very few of us very near to each other. Have you noticed that? There's a reason for that. Because what you are is a central point of light. You are that central point of creation, holding your point on the grid. And all you need to do, my friends, is shine. The moths will come. Just hold your light. You don't have to sway anybody. You don't have to go and try to be a Jehovah Witness and, convert into, pedophilia. That's what they do. Well, the higher ups anyway. I'm not going to pick on all of them. I mean, it's just, I'm not going to pick on people that are ignorant of what it is they're doing, but I will make them own up to it. That's without question. I'm sorry. I just can't handle people harming others, and when people are being taught to do that, and in the light and the guise of, well, we're not hurt. I don't want to hurt anybody, but you are. So I just want to change that. But you got to know, everyone that's listening, you are an amazing, blazing sun of light. You see, if we go back to the Phoenicians and the Egyptians and all the rest of it, they worship the sun for a reason. And what they're doing is they're doing it backwards. Those are just the clues of who we are. You are light. Why would you worship a sun? You are a sun. You are a sun god. All of us are. We're all little sparks of the all-spark. So what you are, every one of you that are listening right now, are a very critical point of light, holding your ground in your immediate area, because your auras go out a very long way, and you are affecting people more than you realize. So when you do the ebb and flow in your emotions, just like I do, we are affecting a lot of people. Because those that are unaware, the brain is a radio receiver, guys. That's what the reptilian brain stem is. All right? So when you master these emotions, the stops, the no motions, when you get a hold finally of your divine feminine, that's what all emotions are. When you grab a hold of that and stabilize it, you have so much responsibility to your fellow man, because you're manipulating them. So always be mindful of that. And listen, I have my own battles. Okay, over the last few weeks, I mean, as much as I know that I trust no one, and that who knows who the infiltrators are and who the deceivers are. That's why I bring everyone to my table.
Can I come in here, honey?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm asking again. Before you leave this area of how powerful each one of us is, there is a poem that I read on our calls every night.
Oh, lovely.
Would that be all right? It's called The Power of One, author unknown. One song can spark a moment. One flower can wake the dream. One tree can start a forest. One bird can herald spring. One smile begins a friendship. One hand clasp lifts a soul. One star can guide a ship at sea. One word can frame the goal. One vote can change a nation. One sunbeam lights a room. One candle wipes out darkness. One laugh will conquer doom. One step must start each journey. One word must start each prayer. Our hopes will raise our spirits. One touch can show you care. One voice can speak with wisdom. One heart can know what's true. And this is the last line, folks, and I want you to all remember it, please. One life can make the difference. You see, it's up to you.
Sorry, No. I actually was trying to unmute, but I wanted to let that sink in anyway.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It is. It's absolutely. When you all realize, use your real eyes. Okay, look at it properly. When you all realize that you are the absolute most important part of creation, because you're me, this game ends. It's over. It's done. And we get on with a beautiful creation. That's what we're here to do. Sorry, I didn't sign up for this bullshit. Well, obviously I did, but there's better games to be played, don't you think? you know, all things considered. You know, I've got a lot of things that I'd like to do, and get back on with life as I was living it, and try to have a bit of fun. But again, I'm in this for the long haul, and to the last breath until this twinkling of an eye occurs. So I don't care if it takes the rest of my life. But it won't, because I know we're already there, because we see the walls of Jericho falling around us as I speak. The bankers are falling, everybody is scrambling, the courts are basically unraveled to the core now. I've got a little core remover that I'm putting together, so it's time to have a bit of fun.
And again, as you quite often say, Kate, it's etheric. I mean, it's like the majority of the people turn around and say, well, what do you want me to do about it? I can't do anything, I'm only let alone me. And that's the problem. The point is, who told you you couldn't change the world? That's the point. It's like, no, stop thinking you can't, and realize that you can, because that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I've had those moments, you know, where you make a worldwide impact. And granted, I've got 4. Yeah, I've been part of 4 world records. So that was a brief introduction to it. It's like it wasn't the grand scale thing, but it gave you what it did for me was, this is many years ago, was it shrunk the planet down. But I'll tell you that the one defining change the world moment that I had that proves Tony's words absolutely resonant truth was a couple of days after, I guess it would be September 12th, 2010, after that episode in the court where the judge bowed to me, and I already started seeing the people just zinging the video to have a look at it, because everyone was looking through free man stuff and whatever. The one guy was tracking it, and he was a stats analyst, and what he said was YouTube had been very, very busy crushing the numbers of that video, and what he had said to me was, in the first 2 weeks, based on his calculations on how the graph was running, where they knocked it down 3 times, he figured between at the end of the first 2 weeks that that video had been hit, based on the stats and his calculations. And this is what he did. This is all he did. He could. This guy was amazing. Anyway, he said, well, rough calculations has this video, based on what I'm seeing here, between 65 and 120 million hits. I think they were showing at that point 15 or 20,000. So they were going hardcore to shut that down. But I'll tell you, 2 days later, I was driving in my car, and I use the term driving because I don't care what the language is. I understand it and decoded it and busted it apart, so I can speak freely. So can you now, by the way. Just whatever your intention is what your intention is. I was driving along, and then it hit me. Holy shit! I changed the world, and I did. So
Kate, would you please give us the name of that again? I've got judge and then I got sovereign, but I didn't get the words in between.
Judge bows, as in
bows.
Curtsy bow, right? Bows to sovereign.
To sovereign. Thank you very much.
And you'll get to see me in boy mode. Oh my God. Yeah, well, it's still a ponytail. But anyway, yeah, you do a lot of things. I look a lot different. Oh my God. But anyway, much better actually. Yeah, again, guys, I just can't stress it enough how important you are. And this is, if this is all this show ever does for people, for me anyway, to get this out to you, to let you know how stunningly gorgeous in creation you are and how important you are and what a role you're playing. You are the best and the brightest this universe could offer. It's why you're here. They didn't send the grunts here, boys and girls. They sent the best of the best. And you're it. I'm okay with that.
Yep, it's get over it time.
You know, I'm cool with that. I hope you are. I hope you can look in your mirror and say that you are the best of the best and the brightest of the bright. And the only reason you're on this call and in this show right now is because that's truth. That might take a little bit for you to swallow that pill. That's a big red pill to swallow. Huge. But it's beautiful. And here's the joy of it. when you do, when you finally accept who and what you are, this world changes in the twinkling of an eye. And that's the only point I'm waiting for. That's all I'm waiting for. I'm just sitting back with the popcorn because I know it's coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kate, that is incredible what you just said.
Well, it's just because it's true.
Exactly. True.
That's all. It's just truth. I mean, and you're going to get it straight from my heart because that's the only place I talk from. Mm-hmm. See, I've been on stage for far too long as a singer-songwriter, applying my craft and honing it to the best of my ability to paint really big pictures with just a handful of words and a few chords. And I think after 5,000 or more songs, I might have got a handle on that. But I'll tell you, to try to transfer the magic of that into what we're doing now, that's all I'm trying to do is just give you guys that magic, because you always had it. You always, here's the thing. I'm not telling you a damn thing that you don't already know. Don't you find that odd? Do you know why it rings true? It's because you've always known this.
But they've made us forget it, right? Or
well, that was the choice. That was a choice, you see. And now there are rules to the game coming in here. I think it would fall along the lines of Star Trek non-interference, right? And when we do come in here, there are rules and guidelines.
The prime directive.
Prime directives that we can come here, and the only thing we can leave or have in place for ourselves, for our own awakening. You're all sleeper cells. You're all awakening now. We're clues. That's the yellow brick road. That's the Hansel and Gretel. As I described to you today, Hansel and Gretel, they're just a messy pair of kids leaving shit everywhere. I can't go anywhere without tripping over something. And it gets to a point where I remember this yellow brick road was pretty clear and I couldn't see much on it, and all of a sudden I found one piece and then I found another piece. And as soon as I started understanding why the pieces were there, all of a sudden all these other pieces started falling into place. Trust your coincidences. There are none. Those are your clues. You'll find no answers out there. Nothing. The only answers you'll find are within you. Right? I just finished telling you the best and the brightest. What the hell are you doing listening to other people for? I mean, seriously. So look at this tapestry as the clue it is. That's all it is. And as Anthony so eloquently said, he doesn't get caught up in the quagmire. None of us do. We move along. And for me, that was a very eloquent point, and that's the most important point that people need to get. You are that point of light. You are the tip of the arrow wherever you are. You listening right now, and those that were listening earlier. And the people that get the archive are going to get this message. And isn't it interesting that we're talking about this now in the recording part versus on air part? So those that pick up the archive know who they are.
They'll be blessed. Yeah.
They know who they are because they're going to hear this. Where you guys in the call right now are hearing it, those that get the archive are going to hear it too. And only those with the archive. So there are many of us. Don't worry, guys.
The message is getting through to the people that need it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go back to Anthony. You're the new star tonight, Anthony. Thank you. Anthony, you said was your dad to put you onto the show? I've left his mic open. I'm not sure if he's still there or not. No, well, I believe it. He had said his dad had directed him towards the show. You see how that exponential thing works?
Yeah, I wish it worked my end.
Well, that's what I wish for. I wish for exponential growth. That's the only thing I want. Where one domino hits 2, hits 4, hits 8, hits 16, 32, and so on. And that's what we're experiencing now. It's my own Facebook here is a prime example. When I get contact requests that are sitting in around the 20 to 30 per day. Where that to me is not like, oh, everyone loves me. No, that's me. Oh, look, everyone's waking the fuck up. How cool is that? That's how I see it. I put it in the mirror. My joy is for those that are awakening. You know what? I'm already experiencing that. I want others to experience it, but I'm not going to ram it down anyone's throat either. And the fact that people are listening in this call right now is because you made the choice to. You made a free will choice to be in on this call. Well done.
Can I just add something to that? I told you earlier, Kate, about Pete Santilli's show. Actually, a U.S. congresswoman or senator has looked at the information. In fact, I'm going to post this again to you, Kate.
Yeah, that was the one that was exposing the Boston nonsense for the false flag it was?
Absolutely, yeah.
On mainstream? Pete Santilli's got a good following, so...
Hang on, it's going more than that, because it's gone on CNN since. It's actually it's going stupid, because this woman's an actual congresswoman, senator, that's going, no, they've lied to us. What the bloody hell's going on? You know, the FBI's in it, the NSA's in on it, the governors, they're all in on it. What the hell's going on? It turns out that they were right, the conspiracy guys were right, and they're wrong. And she's going, oh, it's awesome.
Well, there's the mirror, and by the way, just in case anyone's thinking right now that they don't have an effect on the consciousness, there it is. And I can't insist this upon people enough. Insist means to not assist something, by the way. I cannot push this forward enough. It is not so much your actions of what you think you need to do. The only thing you need to do first is become the chicken, i.e. able to lay the egg. You need to be thinking it. Thought. This is a mental universe. It is in the mind of Creator, holographically, spiritually, in all forms. All right? You are the imagination of, we are the imagination of ourself. There is only one, right? Singularity. And here we are on a journey of infinite perspectives of great ourself, us, we, having a look at it from as many angles as we can to try to answer the first question we ever had. And the first question of a consciousness that awakens to be so very alone is why? And we're just trying to answer that. And I think we're doing a pretty good job, and we'll never be alone again, right? You can call it schizophrenia, you can call it whatever you want, but the simple truth of the matter remains. We are all connected, we are all part of Source, we are Source, and infinity would be very boring if we just sat around thinking of why, instead of going out and manifesting something after the fact. So, put your thoughts in place, be mindful of your thoughts. Those are the things that change universes. That's a fact. Get over it. So be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you stare at. If you're rubbernecking fear porn, you are creating fear porn. You are rubbernecking truth, you are creating truth. So choose what you want to create. Be the change you want to see. Change your mind, change the universe. And all you guys have done for me lately is prove that that is true. I see a much more beautiful place now. And all this fear porn will be as dust in the wind. Look, the band can't. Imagine that.
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion? Instead of looking at the Boston situation, and I'm referring directly to that for a very good reason, having looked at the information about the meridians, etc. Instead of looking at it as if, oh my God, no, there's been a bombing and all that crap, which is what we want you to think. Look at it and go,
yeah, nice try, asshole. Yeah.
Seriously mucked it up this time.
Yeah, you guys are serious, right? You went from 9/11 taking down Twin Towers to a couple of fucking ball-bearing bombs? Are you shitting me?
Boy. It's brilliant.
Now look, now you see the lessening of their power. They basically go to a couple of pressure cooker bombs. Are you kidding me? Dropped by a couple of craft boys. Are you shitting me? Oh no. Maybe it's me. Maybe they don't realize that there are cameras everywhere, with everyone, at every corner, every angle, and of course they're going to get caught. But then that's part of the game too. Is they're making it so obvious for those that are really, really, really asleep. Thank you. Okay, and every so often they have to give in and throw us a congressman or something to say, hey, The truthers were right. It's actually cool to be a truther. Remember when it wasn't? Remember when it really, really sucked?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Black Ops.
Yep.
Time jumps, shadow beings. Oh, my God. It's been a fun walk, I'll tell you that much. And we've had some pretty wild experiences with guests. And then, again, this has been another one of those beautiful, eye-opening experiences with Patty. So thank you so much for... and I know this was a tough thing for you, so thank you so much for bellying up to our table and going, hey, check how I eat. And you eat beautifully.
I'm just so grateful that I found you guys and that we've all connected in this way. That means more to me than anything.
Well,
and as I said to you in the email today, I'm so raw and so beaten up that I really didn't know if I could do this tonight, but I really wanted to. I wanted to be connected to you guys, and I love it. I love listening to you guys, and you're funny. You swear. I like that.
Well, we're as real as hey, you know what? We are the everyone. I mean, I am not going to predispose myself to anyone's rules. Take me as... listen, guys, you know what? Let me put it to you. I laughed about this morning. I think it might have... Actually, it was last night I laughed about this. I was just sitting thinking, and I was reading through some stuff I was working on. And then it hit me. And I said, oh, my God. All these people are listening to a tranny dyke. What the fuck? And I just started to laugh, and I'm thinking, but who else? Really? Who else? How weird does it have to get in order to get this out to people? And here's the real funny part. You guys are getting it. This is amazing, And there was my biggest fear was that, It's like, how is anyone ever going to believe me? I'm a freaking angel. Oh, my God. Anyway.
That's so funny. What that reminded me of was, it's like Christians believe that Moses had it hard when he was a stutterer. Was it Moses?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it could have been.
One of them was a stutterer, and I'm thinking, wow, you got it over him.
Yeah, well, it's like... It's like I said, when I got here, it was like showing up at the airport and, grabbing the wrong luggage. Yeah, where's my American Tourister? Oh, sorry, you get the Samsonite. Oh, man. Anyway, my baggage got switched at the airport. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm good. Came with clues intact, and that's all I am. I'm just a clue that you are both, and that you need to get those into balance. And once you do, you become the Baal lance, the lance of Baal. You take Moloch down, right? I
saw you had written that somewhere, the balance. I just read it before I came on, and I'm sitting there thinking, I don't get this. I'm so glad you said that.
Well, Baal, right? They worship Baal.
Yeah.
That's why you have to post Baal, B-A-A-L, right? Not the way they spell it, right? Again, you see, the power is not in the spellings. It's in the assumption of the spellings, and then, of course, the only thing that creates anything in this universe at all is what? Sound. In the beginning, there was the word. Harmonics. All light is a higher frequency of sound. And they have us sold on the high frequency of light and going, oh, look at all the pretty things. Oh, my God. And they forget, they make you forget that you're supposed to be using your ears first. And you hear resonance with your heart. And that takes a bit more practice. But it's trusting your gut instinct. It's like when you meet someone for the first time and you go, ooh, I really don't like this guy, or I don't like this girl, or I really like this guy, or really like this girl. That's because what you're doing is you're either resonating with their very beautiful aura, or you are in complete contrast to a very dirty, intent, malfeasant aura, right? And when you start trusting in those instincts, and no one listening can tell me that they've never experienced someone walking into a room and you just got a really shitty vibe about them. That is your divine feminine intuitive. Pay attention to it. That is creation itself.
Can I just comment on that, just briefly?
Hey, Tony, stop saying that. You're the co-host. Just jump in and just do. You don't ask me.
Sure. Something I've learned recently is first it's the eyes, then it's the ears, then it's the mind, then it's the stomach. Then it's the heart, and then it's the stomach.
Yeah, you get the gut.
Because you have a mind in your stomach.
Yep, everything is resonating at different frequencies. So pay attention to all your harmonics, and I can make it simpler, and again, it'll be like that again tomorrow night. Oh, speaking of which, tomorrow night we have Swan Montague on, talking about her new book release, and definitely be a show that you guys don't want to miss. And we've had Swan on a number of times. For those that know me on Skype, my handle is Cygnus Trumpset. It used to be it's went from Ugly Duckling to Cygnus Rising to Cygnus Trumpets. Now it's Cygnus Trumpset. The Swan is the essence of the divine feminine. And Cygnus is the constellation that I'm turning this planet towards. We've been steering towards Orion for too long. We need to head back home to the Swan, the divine feminine. That's where we got knocked off course. So let's just get our focus back onto Cygnus, and in Cygnus and in health, we move in that direction. Right? Well, why do you think they called it sickness? Because it sounds a whole lot like Cygnus. They want us to think that sickness is bad. Right?
Wow.
Put it all in the mirror. Listen to the words. Be hooked on phonics again. That's how we learned to speak in the first place. We didn't learn to read and write first. We learned to speak first. Right? And all school did was took us away from our innate, natural abilities to listen. We got two ears for a reason, one mouth.
Wow.
So,
that's
anyway,
very interesting.
Profound little truths, the kind of things that we start, Hansel and Gretel.
Wow.
So it's just paying attention. But hey, listen, guys, it's been great. Honestly, you guys, it's been an awesome show. I can't thank you enough, Patty, for coming in. And I know you're not going to be a stranger. You're in the chat rooms with us and everything else, so don't be a stranger. And hey, we do this together, all right? So that's how this works.
Well, thank you for having me, you guys. I'm just delighted. Now, do you want me to give you information about the Law Society? Are you going to send them a little wake-up note?
Oh yeah, it's just fired into Skype, and I'm going to be sending them. I'll put them on the mail-out list, and they'll get their route.
Mail-out list. I love it.
I got a list too. I check it twice. I'm Santa Claus, and I'm Christ. Isn't that funny how that works?
Oh, that is hilarious.
Hey, I'm just taking the lessons and saying yes, okay. That resonates with me. So, not to worship. We are the Christ consciousness, for crying out loud. Oh, just get back into crystal form. Christ all. Be the Christ. And you will do greater things. You will.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was trying to answer another call. I'm still listening. I was trying to answer another call. I'm sorry. I'm going to mute out.
Okay, no problem. We're signing off for the night now anyway, Anthony. Great having you. Hope to have you back, and love getting people's questions and comments. So thank you so much for showing up tonight, my friend.
All right. Thank you, too.
Thank you. Well, listen, guys,
right.
It's been an absolute pleasure tonight. Another episode of Outside the Box, Open Forum. Tomorrow night will be Swan Montague with Tony and myself, and a whole lot more of just cracking open cans or Pandora's boxes everywhere. That's what we do. And hoping that you can join us tomorrow night. It will be another fun-filled adventure. I'm not sure what's going on Wednesday. I think Tony had something in mind, so I'll chat with him off air on that one. But again, thank you everyone for tuning in to Outside the Box here on Critical Mass Radio. Much love to everyone, and thank you again, Patty. Tony, final comments before I roll this out?
No, it's all cool. Again, just check out the front page of Syncrenicity. Apart from that, everything's cool.
There we go. Sorry for being such high-stress, radio types, guys. It's just the way we are.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Patty.
Thank
you, Carol. You're a delight.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's really nice knowing I've got a backup, baby. It's awesome.
I'll be here every chance I get, baby doll. I love you. Thank you, guys.
Right back at you. So much love to everybody, and we'll catch you on the flip side tomorrow night. Take care.
Thanks, Kate. Good night.
And bless you all for being the light you are. I can see you from here. Take care. Good night.
Good night.